All right. None of this intro stuff. How many of you, leave it in the chat. How many of you found out this game started at 7:30 within the last 20 minutes? I need to know. I just need to know. I found out sometime this afternoon, and I'm covering the game. 7:30. That's ridiculous. So this thing's going to start very soon. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Steve Dangle here, and welcome to Watch a Leafs Game with Steve Dangle on Sportsnet's YouTube channel. Listen. Some of the Leafs have, I have a theory. They're out with non-COVID related illness. A lot of people on Twitter had the theory that it had something to do with going to the bathroom. I hope not. And there's the face-off in a hurry. Usually there's a lot more preamble. Leafs taking on the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings ran the Leafs show early in their last meeting in Detroit, and then the Leafs scored like 1 billion unanswered goals. That's the unofficial number. And the Leafs won. Tyler Bertuzzi blocked 2 shots, and it didn't matter because John Tavares scored a really mean empty netter, and it was hilarious. The Leafs lines are all messed up. Engvall not in the lineup. Dermott not in the lineup. Muzzin obviously not in the lineup. The most important things you got to know. There's Justin Hall, who is in the lineup. The pairs are Riley Liljegren. That's the top pair. Not kidding. Second pair, Brody on the left with Justin Hall. Once again, not kidding. And then Sandin Labushkin. As much as the Leafs pairings have changed over the past few games, Sandin Labushkin has remained the same. So that is what the Leafs have in mind for the third pair. When the dust settles after the trade deadline, I think. Hall almost with a sneaky one. How big of a Leafs fan are you? Here's how big of a Leafs fan I am. In my fantasy pool, Dylan Larkin was listed as day-to-day. So I was able to put him on IR. Now, he came off of IR. I'm leaving him scratched. 1, because I didn't want to drop a guy. And 2, because go Leafs! Sure, they're on the road and using a bunch of defense pairs that they've never used before. That doesn't mean Dylan Larkin is guaranteed to get 4 points. Right?
You mentioned Tavares not scoring.
That's what I hope.
Know the frustration. It's been the Matthews line that's been the
We're going to be taking a break.
Coming off a big win.
No, there's no technical difficulties. Relax. We're going to be taking breaks throughout. You know, gotta pay the bills and all that corny stuff. But at intermission, we're going to get a little bit of Sportsnet original content, and that is going to include some trade deadline content. We basically had a trade break live on our last show, and it was that guy right there, Russian Roman Polak. No, that's not his. They go with the Russian bear. And Nick Robertson, geez, how did I not mention this, is in the Leafs lineup. Now, Leaf fans have been hilarious about Nick Robertson being in the lineup on Twitter. A bunch of you are excited, and I think you're the most right. Someone tweeted earnestly, not a big fan of the kid. He's fallen off. Look at his numbers this year. Well, if you go and look at Nick Robertson's AHL numbers, you'll notice he doesn't have very many points because he broke his leg. Oh! And he almost broke open the scoring with a goal. Doesn't look like a guy who's fallen off to me.
That was a rocket pass, wasn't it? But nice job, Nedeljkovic.
He's chaos out there. I haven't decided if it's fun chaos yet.
Almost got by him.
Takes a while. Takes some getting used to. Familiarity. You know who's got some of that energy, except he's a vet? Andre Kasha. Whoa! Bunting. Cannot score. I thought Moritz Seider was going to punch him in the neck.
early in this one.
I believe that was more insider. Whoever it was, they're a Giants, or at very least, they're standing next to Michael Bunting. Nick wants it. Nicky wants it. Oh, who doesn't love this kid? Wrong people.
Look at Nedeljkovic try to grab the stick of Bunting. He kind of
it is more insider.
Up against him, wasn't able to make.
God, that guy's huge. I think Stevie Y did okay with that one. Looks like he's poised to win the Calder Trophy. And if he doesn't, then it might be Lucas Raymond. And if it's neither of them, it's going to be Michael Bunting. Because it's really funny. I got to say, the Leafs, with every reason to not look so good in this one, look like the better team by far to start this game. We're 3 minutes in, so that doesn't mean a ton, but it's a good start.
That will stick to Nedeljkovic.
A little pushing and shoving as
oh, Bunting, they're already sick of him. I love him.
Now, one thing Sheldon Keefe was talking about Bunting, he just brings it.
Any StarCraft fans? The originals? He's our snake
his
now.
Opponent's skin. You could see the chirping starting already. Bunting sort of laughed off. He got fined for diving and just said, hey, I didn't know.
Bertuzzi has done well in Saturday games, according to that little ticker there. None of them have been in Canada.
The way Bunting plays, he has a little smirk on that, saying, "Yeah, that's the job he does."
There's my stat. That's a stat. That's a factual stat. By the way, we will be getting to your comments in the chat. Just early in the game, there's a lot to get to. I will periodically check Twitter, but you're better off putting it in the chat. Tavares! The second line needs to get going. That's why Kosh is there and Nylander's on the other wing. The reason I brought up Twitter is someone tweeted me a picture of them watching this stream on their television, and sitting next to the television is their cat. Let's go, Willie. Bing! Wow! Willie!
The busiest guy has been Nedeljkovic to start this game. Shot 6-0 for the Maple Leafs.
Oh my God! That puck called him a mean name.
Stretched up and Hronek didn't really close the gap quickly.
That puck stole his lunch money when he was younger, and he's getting his revenge. That puck cut him off in traffic.
William Nylander to put that exactly where he needed
oh
to
my.
See the little adjustment on his shot there at the last second.
That's as perfect a slap shot as I've seen off the rush from any forward ever. No hyperbole. Is William Nylander better than Alexander Ovechkin? Is William Nylander better than Wayne Gretzky? I'm not talking about this season, of course. That'd be ridiculous. I'm talking about over their careers. What a goal, and it's 1-0. Leafs 13-3 in games where Willie scores. And Detroit doesn't have a shot on goal yet, and we're 4 minutes in. They're about to get one, though. Chew! And Jack Campbell stops it. Oh, and I don't know who that was, but they were mean after the whistle, and they shouldn't do that.
You never know if it's as simple as maybe not feeling all that well. You said it's been going around, and he's run off in there. But
was that tonight?
That's the shot.
Did Nylander seriously just leave the game?
Those little adjustments with his blade, and I thought on that one, he made
Please tell me that was footage from a previous game.
Turn the wrist over to make sure he got it over to that
so
left side.
One of the producers, was that from tonight? Did he seriously just...
So the Leafs start on time tonight.
Is that what they said on the broadcast? That it was a... He's potentially just going to the potty? Oh boy. Whoa! So, I don't want to be this guy. So the Leafs are up 1-0. Oh, here we go. Never mind. Shut up, Steve. Leafs are up 1-0. Shots are 7-1. But they are going pedal to the metal right now. And I think this third period could be very interesting. Because we've seen in games before where teams were battling something, whatever that something is, and they fade as the game goes. I tweeted before the game that this game is going to be a challenge for them, and as good as they look so far, almost too many men, for as good as they look so far, I still think it's going to be a challenge, because there's the guys who are out of the lineup. Oh boy, as Liljegren coughs it up. 3-on-2 here. There's the guys who are in the lineup. Boom! Stopped by Campbell. And there are the guys who are in the lineup but are still battling.
clear it down the ice.
Well, it's the Red Wings' fourth line that finally breaks a little bit of the pressure and creates one of their own. Nice seam pass across by Gagne in a first real attempt by Detroit in this game.
Pass across, doesn't reach the intended target. And the Leafs regroup with Justin Hall at the controls. Just past the 6-minute mark. You see the shots on goal, and a good start here for the Leafs, who have been conceding the opening goal for
And I'm back.
the last few games.
Maybe I had to take a break of my own. Whoa! Bunting's had a couple good chances already, and he scores!
Michael Bunting.
No, for Dangle! Right here. Michael Bunting cannot be stopped against a team with two of the leading Calder candidates. The rookie leading goal scorer scores as Willie returns to the bench. We're just full of good news. Nedeljkovic makes the first stop. Hall with a whack at it, and a nifty pass. Ew! And decent little celly from Michael Bunting. The Leafs up 2-0 early. Dylan Larkin just standing there feeling bad because I left him on the bench in fantasy. Why am I tempting fate? Shut up, Steve.
And he has the rookie goal scoring lead now with
18th of the season for Michael Bunting. Listen, I don't know if the most optimistic Leaf fan saw this coming. I really don't.
Increases the Leaf lead here. The goals come 2:26 apart here in this first period, and Toronto looking for more as
Hall looks pretty rejuvenated.
On the Nylander goal.
I mean, he should. But it's difficult when you're not playing.
So higher a bit than early here is Matthews in front. Marner and Nedeljkovic got a piece
That's
of
a scoring
that.
chance for the Leafs. I mean, you think
On Marner and
9 times out of 10 Matthews shoots that, and it ended up being a pretty good scoring chance anyway. The shots still Leafs with 2 goals, Detroit with 2 shots. Shots are 11-2. We are like just over. We're 7.5 minutes into the game.
Labushkin has to
Man, oh man.
his own zone, got it past Zadina and down the ice, and Nedeljkovic thought about leaving the net, but heads back.
Who doesn't
in
love
and
hockey?
Neatly played ahead, and here's Hugh Suter up to Zadina.
There's Willie.
Not sure we've seen Dylan Larkin here early in the game. He's already a couple. Hasn't been a factor yet. Larkin, who leads the league in first goals with 10.
What's that?
But won't
Oh,
get
this?
one here tonight.
It's my That's a Dang It
Early.
mug that you can get at shopsportsnet.store.
Scrum along the boards.
Are you a loser because you don't have one?
Dig it out of there.
Well, you can fix that by visiting shopsportsnet.store. Also available, hat pick mugs. And if you're a goaltender, 10 the goal shirts! The shirt screams when you scratch it. Scratch and scream. New technology.
This is the 3rd game for Detroit in 9 days. We've seen some teams
That's
come
not
off
true.
lengthy breaks. Washington
I feel like for
earlier
legal
today,
reasons I have to tell you that's not
they
true.
haven't had much action in the last couple of weeks,
And the same reason
sluggish in Philadelphia.
all those packets of the drying stuff say do not eat this. How is that not a penalty?
Does that roll
No,
wide
we
of
just,
the net?
you're just fine.
Pile
This
up
is
in
fine.
front.
That's fine.
Dangle
Everyone,
drops goal
that's
stick.
fine. You can just haul people down. That's fine.
Pass fails to connect for Valeno with a big game.
This
in
is
Toronto
the most
earlier this
sustained
year.
zone
Pass
pressure
behind the net.
Detroit's had
Taken away by Kemp
all night so far.
and flipped out 9 minutes in.
You mentioned the lack of games, and sometimes you get off.
I think
a
by
little
ice
stutter
time,
start, and the flip side is
you're going to be able to
Leafs
tell
have been playing every other day pretty
who
well,
is
coming
and
off 3 and
isn't
4, and then now just
battling
off in
something.
between, and when you start to play at a good level, as a player,
It
you
already
have
feels
more
like
of
they're
those
basically
games.
double shifting
Robertson
Matthews.
digging in, sharp angle shot.
And whoa,
Down,
Nicky!
and he tries to jam,
Nick
and
Robertson with
it just
almost
didn't
his
go,
first
but Nick
NHL goal.
Robertson's had a couple of looks
First
early.
NHL goal with an asterisk. He did
On his
score in the
fourth
bubble
line was
playoffs
Spencer Simmons.
Adam Ernie basically maybe saved the goal there, didn't he?
in the qualifying game
Simmons into the glove of
round. Sorry.
Nedeljkovic, who has
And
been
we're going to
under
break.
siege.
When we come back, the Leafs will try to build on their 2-0 lead. Stay with us. Watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle. I'm Steve Dangle. Click like, click subscribe. Tell all your friends. We got questions from the chat as the Leafs are up 2-0. Noob Master. Should the Leafs sign Eric Stahl? No. Because their cap space is precious and they have more glaring needs than what Eric Stahl could provide. You know what? There are a number of reasons why the Leafs lost to the Montreal Canadiens last year. I don't really think Eric Stahl was one of them. I do remember he had a really good pass that led to a goal. But overall, in terms of usefulness on the Habs run, like all the way to the Stanley Cup final, experience is great. You got to be able to play, for goodness sakes. Not saying he can't play. Not saying he can't help a team. Listen, he could make the Leafs better. But they have more dire needs. TJ Brodie has been the Leafs' top right defenseman since he signed here. And he's on the second pair left side right now. Don't tell me they need Eric Stahl.
But strangely enough, only 2 goals against Atlantic Division rivals so far this year.
Matthews is buzzing tonight.
So 2 in 11 against the Atlantic. So
Desorate asks, could you see a world where Tavares is traded for futures? Oh boy. Wow, they're up 2-0 and we're having that talk? Yeah, I could absolutely see a world where he's traded. Not this season, certainly. Not in the off season. Like, I just don't think we're in that world yet, as Jack Campbell makes a save. And the reason I say that, I got to bring it up on cap friendly. So you might go, okay, Steve, yeah, the Leafs are going to be able to trade a forward who makes $11 million a year. Right? He's had a heck of an improvement. $11 million a year. And the one thing he can do is create against the cap. And he's aging and etc. As Jack Campbell. Wow. Okay. That happened super fast. Jack Campbell made the first save and the camera wasn't even on who shot. Lucas Raymond with a goal. So many good young players in this game, and you mentioned Raymond right at the Dylan top. Larkin better not have got a. Oh no! It's the face-off win by Larkin that makes this possible. You look at the last couple. Okay, here's the good news for me personally. I don't think Dylan Larkin got an assist. He did win the face-off. Ronick, whoever that is, Raymond. All right, we're good. Listen, I don't want the Leafs to get scored on, but I definitely don't want Dylan Larkin to score because I have him scratched in fantasy tonight, and I feel bad. So anyway, John Tavares, $11 million against the cap. That's true. That is true. But out of the $77 million in his contract, a whopping amount of it has already been paid. Good play by Kampf.
Line with Larkin as well. Here come the Leafs looking to respond. Kerfoot shifts gears in the Detroit zone. McKayev long range.
Oi! David Kampf, I don't know if he got a piece of that. I think he did. The Leafs are up 3-0. You know what? Guys, I want to have lovely chat conversations with you and everything, but sometimes the pace is like this, and we can't do it. We can't do it. You see, because it's his name, you see. Here he is battling with Philip Hronek. That is... When did David Kampf become a goal suck? This dude had 1 goal last year with the Blackhawks, and I believe that is number 8. Kerfoot did the work down in the corner, got it out to David Joe Actual Pavelski Kampf ties a career high with that for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Thomas Greiss is going in. Barely over 11 minutes into this game, Nedeljkovic getting yanked.
Thomas Greiss will come in. 33 seconds after Detroit on the board, Kamp's goal.
As long as we're talking about my fantasy team, I picked up Nedeljkovic. He was a disaster for me. Someone else in my pool got him the week I was playing them, and I just decided to keep my mouth shut. And Nedeljkovic being bad is basically the reason I won that week. I'm very big into fantasy hockey this year. You can tell.
Disappointed with the play of his goaltender. That's 15 goals against the last 104 shots.
On a night where the Leafs are shorthanded battling some sort of illness, scoring goals off wicked clappers and possibly borderline pooping themselves. They look fantastic.
And Nylander back to work. Sprawl to get that to Kasha. Back to Nylander. Watched by Suter. Justin Hall with a pair of points early.
Justin Hall puts it on tip. Thomas Greiss facing an early test there.
Here comes Tyler Bertuzzi trying to...
Alex Kerfoot has 28 assists. Did I read that right? Man, we always talk about ways the Leafs can get better, and a lot of trade conversations involve getting rid of him. Oh boy. There are not a ton of situations where the Leafs deal him and get better. Underratedly great for them in that Montreal series in an impossible situation. Yeah, hey Kerf. I know you've been playing the wing for us. Can you replace John Tavares at center for us? Thanks. And he had, I think he was the Leafs' leading scorer. 6 points in 7 games, if I'm not mistaken. There's Robertson in goal suck position. The term of the night is goal suck. As in, that goal sucked, and we're pulling you, Alex. I don't know. I thought that was mean. I actually thought the goal was pretty good. 13 minutes in, Leafs up 3-1. Matthews is City TV tonight, everywhere.
After it goes Riley, Carter Rowney is there, but the Leafs bust out.
Detroit in shambles.
Matthews flipping it down, and Marner gives chase.
Marner's actually looked underratedly good. I say actually because I haven't really mentioned him yet. Is Matthews about to get a call? No, because he's perfect. Good call, ref. And here he comes. Look at him being perfect. Oh my gosh! If he scored that, you thought it might happen. Yeah, you did. It's okay. You don't have to be embarrassed. Ah! Jack! Don't make me get you a shirt. Don't make me get you a shirt, Jack.
And the Leafs start back, and here's Hall jumping up again. After it goes Camp. In support Mikheyev, and now it's Kerfoot. Cycling it back for Camp.
When they score this much, do you get greedy? Like I do.
Fly by in front of the net.
They're up 3-1. They're great. Their first period basically couldn't be going better than this. And I'm sitting here going, sure would like a Nick Robertson goal, though. Oh! Here comes Kerfoot! Stopped by Greiss. These guys are animals. When did this happen? There's Labushkin being all mean. I like that. John Tavares, the little thing king. Listen, Johnny T is battling. He's in a slump.
That shot muffled by Nylander.
He's in a superstar slump.
Unable to get it past Bertuzzi.
Oh, never mind. John, you know, I was in the middle of talking about how you're the little thing king, and even though you're not scoring, you do a lot of stuff to help your team, and you go and take a tripping penalty. And I wish you hadn't. Oh, I really wish you hadn't. Is Larkin on the power play? Of course he is. No! Watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle. I'm Steve Dangle. Click like, click subscribe, tell all your friends. Go to shopsportsnet.store. Spend $500. What? Nothing. Let's go to the chat. From producer Roberto. Is it? No, we're not. Rob. It's just Rob. Okay. Isaac in the chat. Should the Leafs be in on Chychrun? Okay. So supposedly, I don't remember where I saw this, but I think it was Elliot Friedman reported the Leafs didn't want to part ways with their first rounder. Nick Abruzzese, who's a really good prospect. Matthew Nyes, who's a really good prospect. Topi Niemela, who's a really good prospect. Nick Robertson, who's a really good prospect. And Rodion Amirov, who's a really good prospect, and we can maybe talk about later. That disqualifies them from the Jacob Chychrun sweepstakes. I don't know. Should the Leafs be in on a defenseman in his early 30s who's on a reasonable cap hit? Yeah. but everyone should be. And the Coyotes are going to get a ransom and tune in to the 2022 NHL Draft in Montreal, where every single pick, except for the one that's first overall, belong to the Arizona Coyotes. They need help on D for sure, but they don't have the assets. And frankly, I'm not sure they should spend the assets like that much. That's a lot. The Leafs have spent a lot in terms of prospect and draft pick capital over the last few years. And they need guys on entry-level contracts. They need guys on ELCs, guys who are cheap, guys who don't necessarily have performance bonuses, guys who can be sent down to the minors without having to clear waivers. Matthew Nyes can be one of those guys in relatively short order. Same with Amarov. Robertson is one of those guys right now. Abruzzese could be very soon, and he was on Team USA at the Olympics, don't forget. I do want them to add, but you can't go spending like drunken sailors. As the Leafs clear it 15 seconds into their penalty kill, I am reluctant to say this into a microphone, and I'm going to do it. The Leafs penalty kill has been sick. It has been very good. It has been a strength for this team. Now, Muzzin being out hurts a great deal. Dermott is out. He's done some penalty killing when he's in the lineup. Engvall is out. He's done a fair bit of penalty killing. All that hurts, but Mitch Marner has really been leading the way. In the conversation about Mitch Marner, I feel like the Leafs have stopped nearly 90% of all power plays since December 2nd. That's ridiculous. In the conversation about Mitch Marner, how good of a penalty killer he was, I don't think it's brought up enough.
Moritz Seider with 3 assists against the Leafs in their first 2 meetings. And Leddy sends it across. Here's the rookie.
Oh boy!
Tried to jam
Jack Campbell just stuffs the post there as the Red Wings lose the zone. Leafs will try to get a change here. 30 seconds to go in this kill.
Campbell was sliding to his right and then saw that Bertuzzi had a chance. Dug in with that right foot and pushed himself back to the post.
As long as we're giving Marner his praise, I mean, how good has David Kampf been? The goals are... I mean, I would have been jacked if he had 8 by the end of the season. The fact he has 8 now and he's this good of a defensive player. Uh-oh, Kasha without a stick. This is bad. As Campbell gobbles it up, no rebound. Super important. And with 2 seconds to go, the Leafs have basically killed this thing, but not entirely. I'm interested to see who they throw onto the ice for this. Do you have, for example, Kasha and Nylander out there in a penalty-killing role, knowing John Tavares is coming out on the ice, but then who takes the face-off? Probably Nylander. Yeah, we're going to get our answer in a second anyway. Oh, it's Matthews. That's even better. Cool. Totally. That's what I would have done.
The rookies they are the 2 leaders on the Detroit
totally.
Power play in points. Seider was 16.
Man,
with 13.
how good was he last game? As we're going to go to a little TV break here. Except we're on the internet, so we're not doing that. Hi, Steve Dangle here. Watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle. Click like, click subscribe. Tell all your friends. All of them. Even the ones you don't like. Yeah, it's true. Even the ones you don't like. This is a time to reach out and be friends. Right? And then what you do is you antagonize that friend in the comments, and then we block them. And so it's like you played a trick on them. But you also help me out by having someone watch. This is weird. From Spikester, will Robertson stay up? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. The Leafs don't have a ton of flexibility right now. They do have some. With Muzzin on LTIR, they do have some. Leafs are rumored to be calling in on names like JT Miller, who's going to cost an arm and a leg. I think it is smart and the right thing to do. If you're thinking about going and making a giant trade like that, you should make sure that you don't have an answer in your organization first. Nick Robertson was supposed to be a full-time Leaf this year. He broke his leg. Well, he struggled a bit in the AHL because he broke his leg. And underratedly, the Marlies were just not very good for a while there.
A little discussion on the bench, and we've said before, Bunting in the middle of it all the time.
Michael Bunting, so charming, even though he gets fined.
Angry conversation, more of a friendly one.
Tom Snipes, who will score for the Leafs tonight? Oh, so we're going into the well. Let me see. Camp, Willie. Who had the second one? Bunting and Nick Robertson. 3 times. Thank you to producer Rob. By the way, Jacob Chikrin is 23. That counts as early 20s, right? Depends what month, you know. Could be mid.
30 shots against Colorado.
What? Dark said, what band influenced you the most as a person?
The loss against the Colorado Avalanche.
Producer Stu's band, Cold Front, you said?
Pretty tough back-to-back games.
Cold Front.
Not in days, but in terms of...
Yeah, that's right. It inspired me. That's why I know it. My dad's band, Atomic Tomb, which you can check out on Spotify. They're literally a metal band. Also, it's his birthday. He turned 65 today. He's a 65-year-old drummer in a metal band. Atomic Tomb. They have a song called Great Satan America. Yeah. We all have fun families, don't we? But to give you a serious answer, the band that had the biggest influence on me as a person, Rubber. I use it all the time for different things. This is very useful.
29 goals in those.
Leafs with the face-off win, and they lose the zone. That's not nice.
But in his career, 12 goals in
more questions. Keane, will Matthews win the Hart? Here's the thing about these awards. So the Hart is the hardest one to win. We know that. But awards are a very time-sensitive conversation. That was a great play from Willie there. Awards are a very time-sensitive conversation. Remember saying Jack Campbell should be nominated for the Vezina with your whole chest because you meant it? We were talking about that for at least a month. Because we were right. For that month. Wrong now. Matthews 100% deserves to be in the Hart conversation as a nominee, if not the favorite, right now, today, February 26, 2022. A lot of season to go. Regular season doesn't end until nearly the end of April. I feel like Justin Hall's had a decent night tonight. Should be mentioned. He's, man, when Leafs Nation picks the player they don't like very much, it's not a good time for them. Ooh. If he turns it around, I mean, that'd be a pretty big playoff acquisition if you ask me. Oh, they called that? No, they didn't.
Riley out there.
Or was it icing?
Situation where you had Liljegren and Dermott, and I think for Sheldon Keefe, it's this key time where you said
did they call that, or was it icing?
The other guys have played a lot of ice time, and
oh, it was icing. Thank God. I was like, jeez. Thank you, producer Stu. Philip Zadina has been an interesting conversation among Detroit Red Wings fans. He's got 7 goals this season. I feel like he gets too much crap. Nick Robertson got squished there. I feel like he gets too much crap. Oh, he's disappointing. He's this, he's that. I know he was a top 10 pick, but he has the unfortunate position of being a very highly touted prospect on a team that's full of them. Is he disappointing, or is he just surrounded by bullseyes?
So into the final minutes of this
Lucas Raymond, bullseye.
in Detroit, Labushkin
Moritz
back in his
Seider,
own zone.
bullseye.
Third game as a lead over 16
Govalino, very
minutes
good.
on Thursday against Minnesota.
Nedeljkovic, Calder nominee.
Tries to skate onto that.
You're the onside right now. That doesn't matter anymore.
Simmons and Labushkin across.
Oh, here's what we want. Nick Robertson goal assisted by Ilya Labushkin. Because it's the most fun.
Picks it up. Former Toronto Red Wing and
That's
former
not a penalty.
Detroit Little
You show your
Caesars
mouth.
minor hockey player, so he's got both angles covered in this game.
Yeah, very familiar with the sweater look.
I didn't realize we're 20 seconds to go here in the first period. Jeez, the Leafs is as close to domination as you can hope for. Especially given they're on the road, especially given the lineup difficulties, the guys who are out of the lineup and the guys who are in it but having to leave to go to the bathroom. Listen, I get it. When nature calls, it doesn't go to voicemail. But the Leafs go to first intermission up 3-1 over the Detroit Red. I almost got through it. I struggle with it. Why do I struggle with it? The Leafs go to first intermission up 3-1 on the Detroit Red Wings. There you go. Thank you, Mouth, for doing that. We'll be right back. But first, some Sportsnet content. We got the trade deadline coming up. Here's some stuff about that.
Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the 5 biggest buyers and sellers at this year's NHL trade deadline. Now, being honest with you guys, looking over the past few years of deadlines, I feel like this year takes the cake for the most amount of concrete buyers and sellers we've seen in a while. A lot of teams are looking to add to their cores and push to the playoffs, and a lot of teams are looking to add to their futures. But across the entire NHL, who are the biggest buyers and sellers? Who will be the biggest players traded? And what can we expect at this year's NHL trade deadline? Watch till the end for the entire preview, and make sure you hit that subscribe button to the Sportsnet YouTube channel for the best sports coverage around. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, the first team I want to mention here is arguably one of the biggest buyers of this trade deadline, and that is the New York Rangers, a team who I think is going to make a flurry of moves at this deadline, and it all relates to those 5-on-5 woes. Even though this team is third in the Metro, they are going to make the playoffs because of Igor Shesterkin. There is still some 5-on-5 holes to fix, and especially come playoff time, they might get exposed and they aren't able to acquire anyone substantial. For the Rangers, though, I do have some good news. They have $9.9 million in cap space, a lot of options to work with, and I feel like there's 3 different guys they will target. First things first, Ben Sherratt from the Montreal Canadiens, who come playoff time has had a proven track record of physical success, likely a good option on that bottom pair, even if it will be costly. Also, Artturi Lehkonen, who I think will be an excellent depth option for the Rangers, would also likely cost a lot, but on a third line defensive role would be absolutely perfect. And then you have the big one in Joe Pavelski, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the NHL. I think is maybe the best player available right now as it is right now. And I feel like for the Rangers, they can get him and put him on a second line center spot. The Rangers could be one of the biggest contenders heading into the playoffs. Now we're going to move on from the biggest buyer to the biggest seller. And I don't even think this is a question that they will be the biggest seller of this trade deadline. And it has to be the Montreal Canadiens. I think Ken Hughes and this management team is ready to go scorched earth and lay down the framework completely for this retooling of the Montreal Canadiens. Of course, they've already made that Tyler Toffoli trade, which got them a first from the Calgary Flames, but they are not done yet. You got Jeff Petrie in play, who seems to be more likely as the days go by to be traded at this deadline. He will likely get a first from any team that wants a player with substantial term that can be on that defense consistently. You also got Ben Sherratt, who will also likely get a first-round pick. Artturi Lehkonen, who has supreme defensive results. Maybe the Blake Coleman and Barclay Goodrow of this trade deadline. He could get a first-round pick or at least a great prospect for the Canadiens. You got even other players like Mike Hoffman, potentially Josh Anderson in play. This could be one of the most important trade deadlines for the Montreal Canadiens in their entire history, and again, laying down the framework of this rebuild. If they can get upwards of 4, even 5 first-round picks in this draft and the one after, it'll be a home run for the Habs and the rebuild that I think they truly need. But now moving on to the second buyer, and one of the biggest buyers for the top contenders, at least in the NHL, and that is the Florida Panthers, a team that I only have one little scare about, and that is with the salary cap situation. Now, they right now have $2.3 million free, but there is some flexibility there. They have Frank Vitrano, who's already kind of been in trade rumors already, making $2.5 million. If you trade him, then you got some extra money there. You also got Nola Chari, who's around the $1.6 million range, has played like 2 games for them this year, and could likely be bought out or trade to another team for a pick or so, and that would be around the $6 million range of free cap space for them. So if they can get creative, I think they can get some massive things done. In terms of the players they'd be interested in, Ben Sherratt, who we talked about with the Rangers, I think would be a great fit for them, even though, again, he has lost this step. I think in terms of the Panthers and that defense, having some success playoff-wise and experience there, I think is valuable. Also, I think Claude Giroux would be a very interesting addition to this Panthers team, even though that would be a big swing. At the same time, adding him to that top 6, and especially the power play, would make that even more lethal. And also, the last one here is a bigger swing in John Klingberg, who might not be available, but if he is, I think the Panthers will definitely be in on him, especially for that power play and the proven success in the 2020 bubble. I think the Panthers will be all over him. And now going on to the second seller, and one of the weirdest teams really going into this next month in the NHL trade deadline, in the Vancouver Canucks. Now, I don't really know what this Canucks team is in the future, and I'm really not sure the Canucks really know either. They're trying to gauge their situation since JT Miller was in trade rumors and not in trade rumors and back in trade rumors and now not in trade rumors, but it feels like they are leaning towards keeping Miller for the long term and potentially trading other big pieces, Brock Besser and of course Connor Garland for instance, but you also got other smaller pieces like Tyler Mott and Yaroslav Halak, who are basically guarantees to be traded at the deadline. But I do think that Besser will likely be the biggest, most likely option dealt. He would get a lot of value, and even though he's been inconsistent on this Canucks team, he'd have a lot of promise and a lot of potential since he is still pretty young and can be such a good goal scorer. He will get a lot of value, and I think the Canucks are likely going to deal him. But now we're going to go on to the third biggest buyer of this trade market, one of the more underrated buyers, I think, of this trade market as well, in the Nashville Predators. Now, they have done way better than I would have ever thought, being around that middle parts of the Central Division, but still being a strong contender this season. A lot of that is due to because of Duchesne and Johansson being much better, and UC Saros being a Vezina candidate. And I feel like for the Preds, a lot of the reason why they will be a buyer this year is because of the pending UFA status of Philip Forsberg. I feel like for the Preds, they really want to show that Forsberg belongs in Nashville, that he should stay in Nashville for the foreseeable future, and they're good enough to pay him handsomely. And I feel like for the Preds as well, they might add some more long-term pieces. One that comes to mind is Brock Besser, who I think on the wings would be a perfect fit for that Preds team. They might also add a defenseman potentially. If they want to go for a big swing, Jacob Chikrin would be a pretty good long-term option. Hampus Lindholm is also available potentially from the Ducks. There are some good options there, but I feel like for the Preds, even if they might go big or low, I think they will be a buyer and use that cap space very well. But now going on to the third seller, and another team that has to really decide their fate, I think, at this trade deadline, in the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, obviously, the big one is Claude Giroux, who decides his fate with a full no-move clause. He could stay for the Flyers, and they could still go in a rebuilding direction. They have a lot of different pieces they could deal. They have James Van Riemsdyk, who has a $7 million cap hit for this year and next. Hasn't been all too great this year, but at a retained cap hit, a player that's had some great proven history, can bang in goals in front of the net, especially on the power play with ease. That's a player I think a lot of teams would like to have. A player like Oscar Lindblom has also kind of been in rumors this season, but the defense I think is where most of the moves are going to come from. Rasmus Ristolainen is pretty much a lock to be moved, but you also have Justin Braun, who I think would be a pretty under-the-radar player who's done a decent job defensively this season for the Flyers. You also have Keith Yandel, who will be a rental too, and you'll most likely see Martin Jones as well trade at the deadline. A lot of smaller players being dealt, but a lot of valuable guys as well that the Flyers could get a lot back for. But now moving on to the fifth buyer, a team that I think could be extremely interesting in the next 30 days, and that is the Minnesota Wild, a team that I honestly think could be one of the bigger buyers of this market. Just like the Panthers, the biggest struggle is that salary cap. They have $3.6 million right now, which isn't horrible, but they also have less potential dump options than the Panthers do. I know that sounded really funny, but you know what I mean. When it comes to the Wild, though, I feel like they have some holes they could fill. If they want to go big and bold, even though Kapanen Capo Kakinen has still been pretty solid this year. Going for Marc-Andre Fleury would be insane for them and could fit in terms of the playoff structure they have. I think in terms of the forward group, I still don't think that having Frederic Gaudreau as your second line center is going to be ideal for their situation. I feel like obviously a Joe Pavelski if the Stars were to trade him, which I don't want to see happen, but I feel like it would be an absolutely perfect fit, would be amazing for the Wild. There are some other options out there like the Winnipeg Jets potentially trading Andrew Kopp. He would also be perfect for that Wild team, but I feel like a potential top 6 centerman, a potential goalie could be in play for the Wild to go after if they so choose, but again, that cap hit is really the only thing holding them back. Now I'm going to move on to the fourth seller, and in my opinion, this team is the most underrated team selling-wise going into this trade deadline, and that is the Chicago Blackhawks. I feel like they will go full dumpster fire and trade a bunch of core pieces at this deadline. I don't think it'll be a Patrick Kane or a Jonathan Toews, but you will see Marc-Andre Fleury dealt. Big playoff history there. I think Brandon Hagel will be dealt as well. He's a player that has a super low cap hit and is a really good forechecking middle six player, but you also other players like Dominic Kubalik, who are great scoring forwards when they are on their game, who I think will be traded to a pretty strong contender that can use them on the power play and in the right situations. You also got Dylan Strome, you got Calvin DeHaan in that defense, who is a pretty easy rental, has been decent so far this season and can help a lot of playoff teams. There are just a lot of good, solid pieces that will be dealt by the Blackhawks. Nothing insane, but Marc-Andre Fleury obviously headlines that conversation. But now we're going to move on to the fifth buyer in today's list, the buyer that is, I think, the lowest in the standings as of right now in the LA Kings, a team that I think is honestly going to go pretty hard at this deadline, try to get some playoff revenue in that first round. I think when it comes to the Kings, they're in an interesting spot. Right now, they're second in the wild card race. They've won 2 straight. They're 6-2-2 in their last 10, and they have some pretty big momentum. And I feel like for the Kings, they'll definitely want to capitalize on that. But unfortunately, just like the Panthers and some other teams out there, they have some pretty big cap space issues. They have 2.3 right now, but they could also trade Athanasiou and get $2.7 million off the books, which definitely frees some big cap there. So you'd be around that $5 million range, and I feel like for the Kings, that's enough to work with. Now, there has been a lot of rumors throughout this year that the Kings want to add to that defense, and if they do make a big move, I think it'll come onto that D core. I feel like, personally, Ben Sherratt, we've been talking about a ton on this entire video, but he's a guy that's going to get a lot of interest and is going to get a lot of different suitors at least checking in on what he's worth, and I feel like for the Kings, they might be one of those teams that considers that worth it, and especially for that D-core that, with Alex Edler out especially, lacks some playoff experience. I feel like Ben Sherratt would be perfect and would bring some good physicality there, but also I feel like they could potentially add more long-term. Jacob Chikrin's a guy that they've been watching for a very long time, and I feel like if anybody at this point is going to trade for him at this deadline, it will be the LA Kings. So I think it'll most likely come on defense, but there are a lot of options for the Kings to seek out. But now we are going to go on to the fifth seller to talk about today, and we've talked about some pretty good sellers throughout this video, but in terms of actual quantity, I don't think anybody is beating this 2022 Arizona Coyotes team. Holy mama, are they going to have a lot of busy moves to make. They have so many different guys in terms of rentals that teams will likely kind of want. There's not that many amazing gangbuster options besides Chikrin, who will likely be dealt, but you got Phil Kessel there. You also got a ton of forwards that could be dealt, like Lawson Krause, who a ton of teams love. You could potentially see Anton Roussel dealt. You could see Travis Boyd, Alex Galchenyuk, Riley Nash potentially out. You could see Christian Fischer as well gone. In terms of the defense, you got Anton Stroman there. You got obviously Chikrin, maybe even Shane Gostisbehere is a part of trade discussions. There are so many different options for this Coyotes team, and they're making sure while they plan ASU that there's just no stars to be had there, which is a bold strategy, and we'll see if it works out for them. I'm still hoping to get that arena though, because it is so funny how this Coyotes team is run. Now the thing is, the Coyotes do have 8 picks in the first 2 rounds of this upcoming draft, so I can't really complain too much, but that'll be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the Sportsnet YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Comment down below, what do you guys agree and disagree with my buyers and sellers picks? What do you guys see your team being, a buyer or a seller, and what are your buyers and sellers for this upcoming trade deadline? Let me know all your thoughts. Share this video with your friends, get all the trade deadline info out there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a fantastic day, and goodbye.
Hello, friends. Steve Dangle here, and welcome to Watch the Leafs Game with Steve Dangle. Holy cow, what a good first period. Leafs up 3-1. Now, it was a high-octane, high-offense first period. We have your questions and comments in the chat. Because the pace was so fast, I didn't really get to fully answer a question. And there was one about trading John Tavares for futures. I tried to get my point out. I think Michael Bunting scored in the middle of it. Or David Kampf, didn't matter. Let me explain myself. So, I think trading him, if the Leafs wanted to do it, is easier than you think. Yes, he is aging. This is if you wanted to, by the way. I think he's just in the middle of the slump. I think he's going to be fine. But, yes, it's an $11 million cap hit. Yes, he is aging. The actual money that he is owed is far less. So he made $15,900,000 for his first 2 years as a Leaf. $12 million last year. He's making $9,350,000 this year. The 3 years remaining on his deal are all the same. They are the day free agency opens up, whatever day that is. I forget what day it is this year. It's usually July 1st. The day free agency hits, he gets a signing bonus of $7,040,000. And then for the rest of the year, his actual base salary is $910,000. So he's on a $77 million contract. If the Leafs waited till free agency this year, paid him his signing bonus themselves, and then traded him, the team he was traded to would only be on the hook for $18.7 million over 3 years. For that particular season, they would only owe him $910,000. If they wait an extra year on top of that, so let's say, oh God, now I got to do math off the top of my head. So that's 1 million, 7 million, 1 million. If they were to trade him with about 2 years to go in his deal, it'd be $9 million for 2 years worth of John Tavares. Here's the huge hitch in all that: full no move clause. So that's a relatively big hitch. Full no move clause. He's your team's captain. And he's done nothing but be a very good and valuable member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah, he's struggling. He's still got 48 points in 50 games. He'll be fine. Everyone relax. Would you believe me if I told you his current pace is better than his pace from last year? Everything's going to be fine. Relax. But since you asked, I thought I would bust out the details. We're going to get to the second period soon time. Let me get to some more of your questions. From Derpy, what are you drinking? I was drinking coffee. It was a half calf Nespresso, and now I'm drinking water. H2O. I've heard some people from certain parts of Canada think Ontario tap water is gross, which is surprising to me. I don't know where you're watching from, but it's surprising to me because almost every place I've ever visited, the tap water is disgusting. California, rancid. New York, horrific. Saskatchewan, I'm going to throw you in there. Yuck. Where else? Buffalo, that's New York. That doesn't count.
Multi-goal game of his career. And all time for the Leafs.
Nova Scotia, you're fine. PEI, you're fine. Scotland, you're fine.
You got to figure it won't be long.
London?
Before he gets to number
I don't
4.
remember.
Keeps climbing the ladder.
Anyway, second period. Who cares about tap water? Jack Campbell makes a save. Oh, boy. Detroit coming in hot. And I mean, they probably should. They weren't very good in the first. Matthews had a great first period, just wasn't rewarded. Mitch Marner is! What a shot! Oh my God, this kid is so hot. Hotter than the sun since I sent a tweet just a few weeks ago. Oh man, I think he's got a great shot. I just wish he would use it. I think that might have just clipped. Who is that, Rowney? Look at this. Yeah, it just clipped the outside of Rowney's skate, and it threw it off just enough to screw up Grice. Mitch Marner. Why does he look upset? Stop that. Leafs with a 13-1-0 record when Marner scores this season. Can someone get Sportsnet stats on this? Here, you got to earn your paycheck. Is that good? Now, I haven't looked at the chat. I can just feel your comments. Uh-oh, Steve. Are you worried? It's 4-1. And the answer is no. I am not worried that it's 4-1. It's only the second period. Worrying comes later. So I was in the middle of saying this before Mitch Marner scored his 18th goal of the season, tying Michael Bunting. Holy smokes, that line is ridiculous. Great play there by Willie. Let's maybe wait a sec for the Leafs to get out of this pickle. The Leafs are obviously battling a bug. Dermott not in the lineup. Engvall not in the lineup. Tavares was absent from the skate today. William Nylander scored a beautiful goal and then immediately left the game, presumably to go to the bathroom. This game is going to get harder and harder for the Leafs as it goes. Not because I'm a pessimist, not because I'm imagining the worst. It's because these are professional athletes who are battling an illness and probably dehydrated. Now, some of them look great. I was about to say Mikheyev, he's fine, but he actually left last game with that illness. You know, is he fully recovered? Has he been able to eat? Has he been able to keep it down? How's his hydration looking? These bugs that just go through teams like a brush fire, I don't think people properly appreciate how much it affects people. But holy smokes, Mikheyev is part of a 3-on-1 here. David Kampf! Oh, man! This third line has been a terror no matter who's on it. That was Kampf, Kerfoot, and Mikheyev there. Kasha, obviously, up on the second line with Willie and Johnny.
You're down by 3. You got to get in and pinch as a defenseman, but instead the turnover goes back the other way in an odd man rush.
Oh, you got to be kidding me. As the puck goes into the Leafs' end. Out-of-town scoreboard. Habs are winning again. Hockey is preposterous. Hockey, you silly goose. I will never be over you. Who do you think you are? I am. Whoa! 10-year anniversary of that clip, by the way. I saw that in producer Drew's Twitter.
And now played in for Leddy. Nick Leddy centers. Robertson there defensively.
Good play by Robertson, followed by a bit of a panic play. Fourth line getting hemmed in a little bit here. Not liking what I'm seeing. Labushkin moving a body from the front of the net. Appreciated. Wayne Simmons moving a body. Appreciated. The Leafs get out of the pickle. Appreciated. And yeah! Big cheers for the dump-in. It's the fourth line. You got to cheer when they dump it in. Yeah!
Now Brody and Liljegren together. So I wonder if
anytime the fourth line dumps it in, I want the chat to spam. Take that dump.
Justin Hall and TJ
What's that, producer Rob's blood pressure? You don't want me to do that. Too bad. Matthews beats out the icing. I've been riding this train for a while. Underrated speed. Marner with another!
5-1.
They do ask how. They do ask how many. They ask both questions.
You can ask more than one thing. And Mitch Marner, top grades in both. Look at this. Oh, that was almost a just dazzling goal there from the third line. Matthews, heart and hustle. beats out the icing. Michael Bunting, heart and hustle, stops up, beautiful move. Matthews turns Marner into a ghost. And again, why does Mitch Marner hate scoring goals? Look at him!
3 points on the night, now
What?
30 points in the last 17 for Mitch Marner.
Man, that dude, when he scores goals, has two modes: 1,000% and 0. He's either the happiest boy on the face of the planet, or just does not care. Matthews, by the way, the best goal scorer in the NHL with his 30th assist. Is that good? I need someone to tell me if that's good. Can we get Sportsnet stats on if that's good? Leafs now up 5-1. Oh my! Really? Which one of these teams has the poops?
In the last game, but the Leafs now with 17 against Detroit.
It could be both.
2.5 games.
Could be both. There's room. There's another team in the league who I believe is battling a number of non-COVID illnesses.
Larkin from long range, right on Campbell.
Leafs 20-0-1. I believe that's when what was that? Scoring 4+ goals on the road, or with a 4-goal lead. Is that what that was? It's amazing. There's a defeat in there, but it's okay. It's all good. That was then. This is now. This is tonight. All we got is tonight. Usher told me that. This is Usher, right? Or is it Neo? I grew up a big Usher fan. I'm not going to lie. They kind of sound the same.
Not much you can do to make a move there whenever
like their voice.
Offside, and he just stood right up and
oh.
the play with a good active
I thought producer Stu was getting in my ear to tell me if it's Usher or Neo. He's actually telling me we're going to go to break soon. Thank you.
Deeper on the blue line or not.
And a game like this,
you're a great producer.
Time to maybe try it out and see. Might not
be Leafs up 5-1. Oh no! Oh boy. I don't think that was intentional from Robertson at all. But that, I didn't see who that was, but he dumped him pretty good. Moritz Seider, probably the leading candidate for the Calder Trophy right now. I gotta think that's going to be a penalty. Oh boy, that's a dangerous hit from Nick Robertson. We will be right back. Leafs 5-1 lead on Detroit in Detroit. Leafs up 5-1 over the Detroit Red Wings as I adjust my seat. It's just unprofessional. You never see Ron McLean and, all right, welcome to Hockey Night in Canada with, his seat is already adjusted before they get to air. All right, we got 32 Thoughts with Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick, and I understand there's been some traction on Jacob Chychrun. Never happens. But it should. Don't you want to see it now? Right? You're going to watch him next time and you're going to be like, he doesn't move. Right. He just kind of sits there like an adult. I'm not used to that. And then your friends are going to be like, why aren't you used to that? Oh, well, you know, I watch this man-child on YouTube instead when I watch the games. Oh. Like, do you like that? I guess. Oh, so like he does play-by-play? No. He sort of talks about like Pokemon and the Leafs have to go to the bathroom and things of that nature. Whether or not a song is by Usher or Neo. Did we ever get an answer, by the way? Producer Stu? We got our best man on it. I'm sure I could just look at the chat, but what if I annoyed you instead? 90 seconds to go in this penalty kill. Leafs up 5-1.
The two go hand in hand then.
I hate to be this guy. Oh boy, never mind. Oh, stop by Jack Campbell. You don't want to let the Red Wings back in. There's still an unbelievable amount of time left in this game. There's over half of regulation to go. And this team, as I mentioned, has some sort of illness going through it. Mikheyev left last game to deal with it. Nylander has already left this game and returned. Don't panic if you just joined us. You never know how they're going to hold up in terms of energy.
See if the top unit can come out and get something happening here. Message sent by the coach.
Leafs lead by 4. TJ Brody is a plus
40 seconds to go.
Across it comes
Nick Robertson in the box, by the way. Probably fortunate to just get away with the 2 minutes. Hopefully the Leafs kill off the rest of this penalty. Less than 30 seconds to go now. And if he gets out of the box, what he's got to worry about is Moritz Seider looking for him like a heat-seeking missile for the rest of the night. That's a great desperation play by Timothy Liljegren. As the seconds are winding down, Detroit's got a little bit of time to go here. Less than 10 seconds. Dylan Larkin, boo! We don't want him to get any points tonight. Tyler Bertuzzi holds the zone. Almost perfectly timed for Nick Robertson coming out of the box. Still a really good kill for the Leafs. Liljegren doing a good job there. Seider on the ice, and if I'm Nick Robertson, I see him, I want to get off. You do not want to make that rookie mad. Moritz Seider in like his second NHL game went at Victor Hedman. And that was the moment I was like, oh, he's out of his mind. He'll do well. Can he skate? Can he handle the puck? I don't know yet. I just know he's out of his mind. Why would he do that? You must be out of your mind. And it turns out he can do those things too. And he's out of his mind. Marner! Howdy! The creator and manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs TikTok account. Yes, it is the truth. I refuse to believe it is anything but the truth. Gets a hat trick less than halfway through the game. And they're throwing hats on the ice in Detroit. Bless the people throwing toques onto the ice. I've always wondered what the policy is. It's so much harder to throw a toque.
That's a shot that maybe Mitch Marner wouldn't have taken earlier in the year. I mean, when he was starting in the
Wayne Train loving it. I'm loving it. Are you loving it? Yes, you are. We should celebrate with a song by Neo featuring Pitbull, as producer Rob tells me. Oh, and also from producer Rob, that's a natty hattie. That is a natural hat trick. He scored the last 3 goals. I didn't even catch that. Boy, the Leafs battling illness in this game. In Detroit, ironically, cannot catch a cold. Almost everything going in the net. Nedeljkovic let in 3 quick. The Leafs go to Greiss. And we're less than halfway through the game, and each goalie has let in 3 for Detroit. Marner with his 18th, 19th, and 20th of the season. Here comes Willie. Oh, I don't have any Leafs on my fantasy team. Makes me sick. I drafted 1, and it was Muzzin. I'm sad.
Getting edgy at Little Caesars. Math was off by a minute. Goal was at 9:19. So
Early thoughts on Labushkin. Whenever he's on the other team's puck carrier,
to register his first,
he gets them into starfish mode. Do you know what that is? It's this. When they're pressed up against the glass and they look like starfish. I like that. It's better when it's them. You know? Leafs up 6-1 as we've just recently crossed the halfway mark of regulation here. Good grief. Weird game for Jack Campbell. Like, he's only faced 12 shots. And now just by score effects, you know you're about to face a million. So he's on pace to face like 22, 23 shots tonight. But that's just not how hockey works. So what do we think he's going to end up at? 35? Oh boy, this could be bad. Leafs with 2 D pairs they've literally never used tonight. I'm stunned. This game on the road. Detroit getting some opportunities here. It didn't take me that long to be right, did it? Mikheyev with the breakup, though, almost clears the zone. Uh-oh. I wonder... Yeah, I'll save that thought. Because Detroit's been dancing. Sandin's been out there for 3 consecutive minutes. That's a long time. As Jack Campbell gobbles it up, Sandin 3 minutes and 1 second.
3 minutes and 1 second for Rasmus Sandin.
That would have been a career high under some previous coaches. Toronto Maple Leafs. Jeez, Louise. Who's Louise? I don't know, but she's surprised that it's 6-1 too. Actually, the correct answer is my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is Louise. Hi, Louise. Holy smokes! 6-1. Toronto Maple Leafs over the Detroit Red Wings so far. How's that going to continue? Oh, Dante sending me a tweet. The LFR title should be Marner, except the E is a 3. That's it. That's it. We found it. Questions from the chat. Yams. The Leafs always seem to collapse to the net. Is that a forwards or a defenseman issue? To me, it's a forwards issue. That's actually a really good question. I've noticed that for years. It's a Keefe thing. It's a Babcock thing. Maybe even before that. The Leafs are not... Here's what I think it is. I think they're a fast team that knows they're fast and relies on themselves being fast. And they think they can be everywhere at once. Sometimes they're right. It often bites them. But I think, like the way it works with their penalty kill, for example, they love collapsing to the net, and then they're super aggressive. They got nothing but speedsters out there. Engvall, Mikheyev, Marner, Kerfoot. Kampf is deceptively fast. So they do collapse to the net. The biggest problem I have is it's often in a way that is not helpful. And then the defenders, once you get to the last line of defense, move exactly nobody. Labushkin, I can already tell. Listen, from watching him a few games, I can already tell, A, he's nothing special. B, he moves bodies. Good. They need that. They need that in abundance. And I'm sorry, the other guys the Leafs have on the right side are not good enough to negate the fact that Labushkin is literally just some guy who moves bodies. Although it should be said, Justin Hall's having a night. I really like him tonight. It's a big missed opportunity for Travis Dermott not to be in the lineup. I believe he's one of the players out with an illness. Otherwise, he could potentially be on the second pair with Brody. Brody, by the way, was playing on the left. The Leafs are doing this with a top 4 of Riley, Liljegren, Brody, Hall. Like, I don't think we're making a big enough deal out of it. Oh, Jack! Don't make me get you a shirt. You're not getting a discount, Jack. Just because you're adorable and starting goaltender. You're Toronto Maple Leafs.
The Kaiser rink wide and a pass on the tape for Fabry.
Leafs fourth line out there. Remember, if they dump it in, you got to spam good dump. in the chat. Hopefully they don't dump it. Look at Labushkin. Look at him being big. Hopefully they don't dump it. Hopefully they score. Nick Robertson. Oh! No, you can't spam good dump. It wasn't a good dump. Here comes Detroit. Hopefully the Leafs dump it in and then score. That's what I want. That's what I need. Look at Bush moving bodies! Look at it! Look at him continue to move after the whistle! Why would you try to get out of his face? Wayne Train is on the ice!
Gotta think, what, 20 years ago, if it was a...
Who doesn't love these guys? Look at Jack Campbell!
Probably have a few of those. I don't know.
Probably saying swear words like
Penguins today. They
gosh darn and
scrums at the end of plays.
kerfuffle.
I've seen in ages.
That's curse word.
Labushkin having a little chat right there.
Oh, I love it.
On top of Rasmussen.
Bush, you can stay. That'll do, Bush. That'll do.
There's one that Sandini said that long shift. You know, he
Look
was
at
a
this.
little passive
Look at
there,
this.
allowed
Where do you
the
think you're going?
outside lane.
You're not getting through.
as the puck
You think
comes
Jack
through,
Campbell's not
there's
stopping that?
a little
You think Jack Campbell's not stopping that?
collision.
Okay, now Bush. Okay, so I was wrong.
Involved, and Rasmussen
He did
gets
not
up.
move a body there. He left Jack to fend for himself. He made the save and tripped Rasmussen all on his own. That was a play where Bush actually had to be a little bit better, to be honest.
It's early, but he seems to have come as advertised.
Yeah, and you just got to get yourself settled into the new way that your team plays. It's definitely a very different experience than it was playing for Arizona. And now you
Look
got
at
some of
Bush.
these games where the pace of the game is different, the style is different.
Someone clean his visor.
Control style and game for the Maple Leafs.
There you go.
And so that takes a little while to get used to while you're just trying to get
You can tell he
your
needed
legs
it. It
going
was bothering me,
and
right?
get acclimatized to a new.
Less than 7 minutes to go here in the second period. The shots are slowly evening up, but doesn't really take away from the fact that the Leafs have a 5-goal lead here on Detroit, in Detroit. Just a nightmare night if you're a Red Wings fan who has tickets to this game. You were going to have to deal with Leaf fans regardless, but now they're up 5. Oof.
Down in the Detroit zone. Red Wings clear. Back comes Sam Gagner. Sending it down in behind the Leaf net. Brody with the aerial at center, glove down by Larkin.
Remember, we want the Leafs to win.
And Campbell will try and
Number, oh my God, Jack.
away, scores. Gagner will take advantage of that. And Detroit has its
If you're a goaltender, tend the goal!
Very difficult game for Jack Campbell. The one
That's
goal
the
against
third time tonight, Jack.
was a rebound he didn't control. Now he's been watching his
Gotta
team
use his
light it
full
up
name,
at the
Jack
other
Staffer,
end.
and it was
He just tried to
Larkin!
do Too much. Look at his reaction, looking skyward.
I have him
Nice
scratched
job
on
by
my
Larkin
fantasy
to get a
team.
little piece of that one.
Ah!
Over your back
It better not have been
behind,
Larkin.
just
Did he get a
leave
piece of it?
clear D. Instead, he tries
Did
to
he get a
do
piece of it?
Instead of
Say no.
around the boards.
Say psych.
Nice
Okay,
job
it was
by
Kampf.
Gagner to knock that one
And
down
that's
get
actually
it
better
towards
for
the
me.
net, and Larkin with a good hand-eye got a piece
They're
of it.
probably going to give it to Larkin, but then they'll review it and hopefully take it away. That's how I'm feeling. I'm usually cheering for him. Tonight I'm cheering against him on 2 levels. 1, he plays for the other team. 2, I had to scratch him in fantasy tonight and I'm upset about it. As the Leafs watch their 5-goal lead evaporate into 4. You know, as a Leaf fan, I should know better than to be sarcastic about that. It just feels like bad karma, you know? Oh no.
That went off the skate to Zadina.
That was definitely
Wide of the
Larkin.
net, and the Leafs start back. Bouncing puck on Grice. Well, the Leafs will like their offense, but in a perfect world, they'd like to see 91 get on the board here tonight, too. And
5 minutes to go here in the second period.
those struggles, nothing struggling about
Mitch Marner,
right
shoot
now.
it. Why not?
Rips that
Why not?
into the net.
Why not?
Kicked
By
in
the way,
by
click like, click
Gabriel to his
subscribe.
stick
Tell
complete.
all your friends.
And now a centering pass into the middle. It's Bruce Suter and Sider weak. And
Oh, Boosh.
that shot passed in front for Bertuzzi, who tries to center again.
You know,
You
for
see
my
on the
heart,
ice
if the
against
Leafs could
Matthews and their teammates in
not
Zurich.
play the entire rest of the game in their own end, that'd be
Matthews'
great.
draft year when he
They've been so good. for so much of this evening. Please don't ruin it.
A little life from that goal. Still got a lot of hockey left. Even
it's going to be fascinating to see how. I think the Leafs might be offside here. Doesn't matter. Scoring chance. It's going to be fascinating to see how Sheldon Keefe manages the bench for the rest of the game with the team with a massive lead, but they are still on the road and the team is battling illnesses. They were probably going to want to monitor ice time to begin with, but now it's even more important.
Robertson goes to the front of the net. Hall moves up, keeps it alive for Toronto.
If someone's ill and you can save them from playing too much, you should do it. Fourth line on the ice, I got to imagine we're going to see a big old bunch of them.
Former Lac St. Louis Lion plays it down into the Leaf zone.
Matthews, Bunting, Marner, if they're battling anything, you could have fooled me. They all look amazing tonight. Nick Robertson, here we go. Fire it. Whoa, this kid can shoot. He can fire the pill. Be nice if he had some help in there. Somehow gets the puck to Tavares. With Nylander, shoots. Puck on net. Man, if you missed Nylander's goal at the beginning of the game, you got to go back and watch it. What a rocket that thing was. Just over 3 minutes to go here in the second period. Click like, click subscribe, tell all your friends, and then tell them to click like, and tell them to click subscribe, and tell all their friends. And then they'll tell you, and you'll be like, I'm the one who told you, and they'll be like, all right. But it's okay, because they were trying. And that's all you can do, you know?
6-2 Toronto. And Tavares checked at the line, but good battle to keep it
second
alive.
line playing with a little bit of pop right now. Red Wings with more time with the puck than the Leafs, which is funny.
So Sam Gagner gets one back, taking advantage of a giveaway by Jack Campbell.
Sam Gagner was on camera there, and I hope they gave him the goal. Because if they didn't, it was Larkin's goal, and then I had Dylan Larkin on the bench for nothing. Leafs up 6-2. Good gravy. Honestly, I didn't see this coming. And it's not because of a lack of faith in the Leafs. It's people don't put enough weight on... There are games where you're missing everyone from your lineup, and that's tough. This guy's got a contusion. This guy's got a broken leg. This guy's got a this. This guy's got a that. Producer Rob saying they did give Sam Gagner the goal. Yes! And unassisted. Give Larkin nothing! Anyway, there are nights where everyone is in the lineup, and the lineup looks relatively healthy. Look at the Leafs lineup. Other than their kind of funkified defense, this is basically the Leafs lineup. But despite the fact that the lineup on paper is near 100%, the product, the energy level, the pep, if you will, is not at 100%. What do we got here from Leafs PR? Mitch Marner has recorded his first career hat trick. That really? His first career hat trick with 3 goals in the second period at Detroit tonight. This is the 37th time in Maple Leafs history that a player has scored 3+ goals in a period, a feat most recently accomplished by Andreas Johnsson on November 24th, 2018, in the first period against the Philadelphia Flyers. Who remembers that game? Calvin Pickard was in net for the Philadelphia Flyers, and Johnsson ate him up. And if I'm not mistaken, the hilarious thing about Jonsson's hat trick in that game, he scored a hat trick, and he did it with like 4 minutes of ice time that Babcock gave him. I'm glad that's over. Here come the Red Wings. Boo, Dylan Larkin. Good. All right.
Marner's scored the last 3 for
Listen,
Toronto.
Dylan Larkin can get a hat trick in every game for the rest of the season, and that'd be great for my fantasy team. But tonight, I need him to get nothing and be a -5. And no shots, because shots are worth something in our pool. Listen, we did some things dumb. All right. Not everything's gonna work. Penalty? 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 No penalty. Have the Leafs had a power play tonight?
It's hard enough for a veteran to do it like Tavares right now.
Whistles put away. It's been that sort of game. Unless it's something egregious like Nick Robertson completely demolishing Moritz Seider by accident. Oh my God, Matthews.
In first career hat trick, and he's dancing tonight.
This is how the Ringer plays at Shinny. Like, they're just playing keep away. This is ridiculous. Oh my God! Oh, Austin. Oh God, check him for a pulse, seriously. Could not care less. Could not care less. No mercy whatsoever. Oh my God. He's wearing a nameplate, right? That's Austin Matthews in front of the net. Someone get him. 34. Matthews. The one with the mustache. Leading goal scorer in the league.
So 30 goals in 32.
Just when you thought the Detroit Red Wings were going to head to the second intermission, feeling somewhat good about themselves, for goodness sake, Matthews scores his 37th of the season. Sports Interaction. Why not click? Matthews is going to score. What's the Matthews is going to score button? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, they're just having fun. Oh my goodness. The second line actually hasn't looked bad, despite the fact that Willie's ill. I believe Tavares is ill. How are the Leafs pulling this off right now? Please tell me the Leafs have the day off tomorrow, so they can go full bore for the rest of the game and just chill tomorrow. Play PS4. Sorry, PS5. They're millionaires. But you know what I mean? Just do whatever tomorrow. Do anything but anything athletic. Ah! Why am I still so anxious? They're up 5. Stop that, Steven. Leafs at the side of the net. That should count as a goal. 15 seconds ago, the Leafs still like just a bloodthirst.
Played past him and out. And Labushkin back as the Leafs will let the clock wind out. What a period it was.
I'm not sure what that pass was by Ilya Labushkin. I think that pass was, I just want this period to end. And then it does. Mitch Marner with the natty hattie. Whew. Leafs up 7-2, and there's still an entire third period to play. Watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle. I'm Steve Dangle. Click like, click subscribe. Tell all your friends. Do you like original content? I bet you do. Here's some from Sportsnet. We'll be right back.
Coming off a thrilling Olympic tournament, you can see many of the world's best hockey players this weekend in Ottawa for the latest edition of the PWHPA's Secret Dream Gap Tour. You can watch the final game on Sunday morning on Sportsnet, by the way, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific. Now, joining us to discuss the latest on the women's game is, well, the star of the hockey show during the Olympics. She also covers the Flames for The Athletic. It's Haley Salvian. Now, Haley, you had a perfect seat to watch the Olympics. We know how many millions of people tuned in to watch the finals. So taking all of that into account, the state of the women's game is what?
Ooh, yeah, that's a loaded one to start right after the nice compliment. You set me up and then you go right with the tough one. I think the state of the women's game, and this is the right time to talk about it, coming with, millions and millions, that's not even hyperbole, millions of people watching the gold medal game, the game that started at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. This is the right time to discuss it because I think the stakeholders in the women's game know that there's no better time to capitalize on the attention because it's at its peak. And the state of the women's game at the professional level, It's tough. It's really hard. You have these two different, entities operating, the PHF, which is the US-based pro league, and quite a bit of turmoil right now. They've had a number of departures. Their commissioner announced that this was the last year that she would be working, so she's leaving at the end of the season. They're actively looking for a new commissioner right now. The head of their players association was relieved of her duties only a couple weeks after being hired, so they don't have a commissioner for next year. They currently don't have anyone looking after the players in terms of a players association representative. And there's been a number of changes and what they believe to be improvements in terms of their salary structure and benefits for players. But there's still quite a bit of turmoil with that league. And I think a lot of the things that they've done are to attract the best players in the world who just came back from the Olympics. But the best players in the world are currently with the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association, which is the PWHPA, who is having their showcase in Ottawa this weekend, Washington, D.C. next weekend. And that's where they all currently are, doing these showcases, which they've done for the last few years. And they're currently fighting for a league that they believe is professional, a league that has all the resources and pay structure and leadership that befits professional athletes. So that's kind of where everything's at right now. This is where it's been at for the last 3 years now since the Canadian Women's Hockey League folded. There's been a lot of questions about what comes next. And again, as I said, I think the stakeholders in the game know that now's the time to capitalize on all the attention and start to push forward, for the PWHPA at least, their goals of creating a truly professional women's hockey league.
Okay, so let's focus on these two entities that are sort of operating simultaneously. Jeff Merrick on Twitter sort of likened it, if you know your hockey history, to the WHA and the NHL trying to exist at the same time. So here's another tough question for you, Haley. Is having two entities at the same time ultimately a good thing for women's hockey?
I think so, because I think it shows the depth of talent in the women's game. I don't think there's anything wrong with there being a league with all the best players to play in, and then another league for players to continue playing hockey. And I think it shows, again, just the depth of talent in the women's game. I think that, a truly professional women's league that they're fighting for, it's probably small at first because you want to make sure you're building something that lasts. So this isn't going to be a league with, like the NHL with hundreds and hundreds of roster spots. This is going to be like 6, 7, maybe 8 teams. That's not a ton of opportunity. That's the upper echelon, the cream of the crop, players that make that league. And for everyone else, it's either you hang up your skates or you go into a support role. So I don't see anything wrong with there being two different leagues operating, one with, the best 100, 150, 200 players in the world, maybe not 200, but, and then another league that will be able to continue the opportunities for women in hockey. I know in terms of a business standpoint, that becomes a different kind of topic and a different question. But I think if you were to ask the PHF, and they don't have any issue, or not the PHF, excuse me, the PWHPA, they're not saying we want the PHF to fold so we can do what we want to do. They're just saying this is what we want to do. And they're not saying there can't be two. I think, the one league aspirations came up when the CWHL and the NWHL were operating. And that kind of narrative has continued. But I think most of the players and, the leadership group with the PWHPA, they're not saying we want the PHF to cease to exist.
The one league concept seems to be, as you mentioned, where this conversation always goes. And, we talked about this a little bit off air. The eyeballs really come in when it's best on best. So is that ultimately where we have to go to have women's hockey the healthiest it can be?
I think so. I think, again, we see the eyeballs follow historically when it's best on best. And that's at the Olympic Games. It's Canada and the US, 3.54 million viewers on NBC in the United States, 2.7 million in Canada on CBC. Again, that's the game that started at 11 o'clock at night. And people are staying up and watching this game because it's good hockey. It's exciting hockey. It's the best players in the world fighting against the best players in the world for the biggest prize. And unfortunately, that's the peak. That's it. Every 4 years, we get this one game where millions of people watch. The players put their bodies and everything on the line to win it. And then the eyeballs kind of drift off and they fade away. And maybe there's a great women's world championships that people watch. And maybe there's a great tournament or a showcase that people watch. But we've never seen that recreated in the pro women's game. I think the CWHL started to get a bit of a mix of both. They had Hilary Knight playing for Montreal and Casey Bellamy and Brianna Decker playing in Calgary. So we started to see some of those players shifting over, but we've never had all the best players from Canada, all the best players from the US, even the best players from Europe. Like if there is a league that has the resources, that has the pay structure, this is a league that ideally attracts the Jenny Hirkoskis from Finland, the Alina Muellers from Switzerland. And I think that has always been what makes women's hockey, not just at the professional level better, but at the international level better. And that was something we heard in 2010 at the World Hockey Summit from Haley Wickenheiser, when they discussed, can the US are always in the gold medal game? It's always the same teams winning. How are we going to make women's hockey at the international level better? And Haley Wickenheiser stood up and said, we need a women's pro league that is going to not just make the pro game better, but it's going to befit everyone else. Because when you have the players from Europe coming over, they're going to get better because they're playing against Marie-Philippe Poulin on a day-to-day basis. And they're shooting on, Noura Ratu, the best goalie in the world on a day-to-day basis. Everyone gets better when they're in that league where all the best players in the world are. So it's not just better from a viewership standpoint. We get to watch it selfishly, but the players get to get better. There's a pro league for them to make a livable wage. And then the international game gets better too. And I think that's where it needs to go.
All right. A lot of work to be done, but it does feel like we have a little bit. Yeah, a little work is sort of an understatement, but it does feel like we have some momentum coming off the Olympics. Let's keep it going with the Secret Dream Gap Tour this weekend. Of course, another reminder, you can watch the final Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time on Sportsnet. Haley, thanks so much for your insight. This was really great.
Thanks for having me.
Hey everybody. Wow, that's a lot of face. Sometimes my camera does this. It zooms right in. Hi everyone. There we go. There we go. We did something with it. How you doing? Steve Dangle here. Welcome to Watch a Leafs Game with Steve Dangle. Oh, we just have the most high tech. You know what? I'm going to mess with this because this is silly. This is silly. The Leafs are up 7-2, and you do not need to spend the whole third period looking at this. Look at this. This is terrible. Someone's married to this. That's far too much. Some of you are watching me on a big screen, and this is even more far too much. You're all realizing, like, I never noticed how thick his eyebrows were. I never noticed that they're kind of like, what's the word? What's it called when your halves are the same? There's no symmetry to his, I know words, to his eyebrows. Let me try to fix something here. Well, now you can't see anything. Oh my God. You know what? I'm going to plug it back in. Here's what we're going to do. Does Ron do this? Today, and does Ron do this? Unplugging the camera and plugging it back in to see if it works. And it does! Why? Why? Stupid. Straight. Okay, producer Stu in my like I don't see. Like I don't see. You know what? Okay, now I can't get it straight. We're gonna do this until it's done. There you go. What else you want to do? I know what I want to do. Leafs are up 7-2. We got a 5-goal lead heading into the third period. Oh, how am I going to wear my headphones? Okay. I don't get bigger than that. Okay, yeah, I hear you, producer Stu. That's pretty good. Yeah, this works. This works. All right. Well, we'll see how long I have patience for this. Let's get to your questions. From the chat, producer Rob, in there, in the trenches, just getting the best questions. Caleb, thoughts on Labushkin? I sort of said that earlier. I appreciate that he's a body mover. He's not the answer, if that makes sense. It's good that they got him. He may not even be in the top 6 by the time everything's said and done. Because the Leafs sound like they're going to be very active. But he's not special, but he's a body mover, which they needed very much. So I'm satisfied with him so far. If you expected him to be the second coming of Chris Pronger or what have you, why? Who told you to think that? Who didn't love Felix the Cat Potvin growing up? I loved him. Childhood idol. We got that's a figure with him. Couple cards. That's me. That's one of the old nope. There we go. That's one of the old McDonald's masks. I got another one. And there's me interviewing him after the alumni game at the Centennial Classic against Detroit. You might remember that as the alumni game where Chris Draper and Gary Roberts almost fought. So here's the thing. All right, I grew up idolizing Felix Potvin. Every time in the driveway, I'd throw myself and hurt my knees and scrape everything, trying to be Felix Potvin with the desperation save. So I get the opportunity to interview him after that game. And I made a promise to myself. Maximum 3 questions. I don't even know if I asked him 3. I might have asked him 2. I made a promise to myself. I go, do not embarrass yourself. Do not embarrass yourself. I think that's the best way of putting it. And also, like, what if I pushed it with him? And then he was sort of like, ugh. And then I got to live the rest of my life knowing that Felix Potvin, like, rolled his eyes at me. You know what I mean? But nope, it was 2 or 3 questions. Perfect Mona Lisa smile. He's a little older. He's got the salt and pepper. He had a mustache, as you can see, in the football paint because he was playing outdoors. Oh, it was just so good. It was just so good. What were we talking about? Shut up. Felix Potvin. I love him. Nicholas, what is the biggest obstacle that the Leafs have to overcome to be successful in the playoffs? There are 2 very correct answers. There's more than one. Whoa. What's in this mask? There's more than one correct answer. The number 1 answer, number 1A, is the Tampa Bay Lightning. Because as it currently stands, the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have not won a playoff series since 2004, will have to take on the back-to-back reigning Stanley Cup champions. The other correct answer 1B, in terms of what is the Leafs' greatest obstacle when it comes to the playoffs is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Bless the Habs and everything they did, and full credit to them and everything. There's no reason the Leafs should have lost that series. Yeah, they were missing a few people. Dude, they went up 3-1 in the series missing a few people. From the moment Game 5 started, and everyone forgets this because they had the Game 5 comeback, they had the Game 6 comeback, they should have won Game 6 in overtime. Everyone forgets that from the moment Game 5 began, they looked like the second best team by a wide margin. And I'm sorry, you cannot tell me that's not between the ears. All right, my patience is run thin. Oh. How do you keep that on for an entire game? I'm going to put that back because that looks terrible. So this thing here, by the way, if you're ever wondering how on earth do I ever mount a goalie mask? There's a website I found that makes these mounts. I guess you can sort of see it. It's like curved, sort of angled. They make these mounts for football helmets, like NFL helmets. And they just so happen to fit goalie helmets perfectly. I'm going to put it back up. Got to make sure it's good. Oh, God. Ooh. Look at the good job I did. I thought that was going to take way longer. All right. Did you see my butt? Don't look at my butt. The game is about to resume. Third period. Leafs have 20 minutes and a 5-goal lead. That's good. It is! Shut up. Okay, so Jack Campbell has faced 18 shots tonight. That means he is on pace to face 27 shots. However, score effects are very real, and the Leafs are up 7-2. Detroit, if I was a betting man, is going to shoot the lights out for the rest of the game, as Matthews ices the puck. I thought it was maybe going to slow up enough. It did not.
You know, you're not just thinking about your individual accomplishments, but you know everybody on that team is looking at the Richard race. You go back 2 years ago, you had 47 goals and missed it by 1, finishing
Detroit wins the face-off off the icing. Jack Campbell gobbles it up. A little stick tap, love tap. 29 seconds in. Hoorah.
Doesn't have to take away from
Look at that.
Objectives, but it is important. If he wins the Richard, you better chance that the Leafs are in a better playoff position going forward. So everybody's focused on that. You could tell his 2 line mates are as well. As when that puck
by the way, since the Leafs have a
Marner's period, there was a lot
5-goal lead, we can perhaps talk a little. Oh, never mind. We can talk about Detroit scoring to make it 7-3. Oh shoot, Larkin got an assist on that, didn't he? Philip Hronik from the point. Just kind of a floater through traffic. No, I don't think Larkin is going to get an assist on this one. Nope. Oh, Jack! It's, oh boy, I think it's through traffic, but he sees this. Oh, he sees that. Jack, bud. Your team's giving you 7 goals. This should be a night to build confidence.
Will be credited with his 2nd of the night and his 41st.
Listen, I'm not going to complain. They're up 7-3, but that's bad. That's a bad goal.
Sprawling and TJ Brody a +4 tonight. Up ahead, it's.
Oh, I didn't even notice this. Thank you, producer Rob. Alex Nedeljkovic is back in the net. What? Sure. Sure. That makes sense. I believe you. Does Detroit play tomorrow? No, they don't. That's interesting. I'd like to know what the issue is there. Is it that Thomas Greiss wasn't any better? It could be that. Could be they want to get Ned going. Because he has really struggled at times this season. What is that guy saying? Sit down.
time being, it's being credited to Roenick. We expect that to
I hate
change.
when fans do that. Shut up.
Raymond gets a point one way or another on the third goal for Detroit. 90 seconds into this third period. Remember the game on January 29th.
You know what you didn't notice
Leafs scored
today?
5 in the third.
With Watch a
Two of
Leafs
those
game with Steve Dangle.
into
Click
an
like
empty
and
net.
subscribe, by the way. Is producer Graham in the background in my room. He was actually in the blue room. There was another person in the blue room with me for the whole first period. Because we are, listen, if you watch this every week, we are aware of the tech issues. Believe it or not, it didn't go unnoticed by the guy, guy who lags all the time. Oh, no. Oh, come on. Don't do this to us collectively.
Here the Red Wings is to try to find a spark, and boy, they get it here early on.
Imagine
just
a
2
moment's
minutes
peace.
and 9 seconds in, another one.
It is,
Play around the boards,
it's 2 goals in 2
battle out
minutes for the
front, and
Detroit Red
Ronnie
Wings.
with an excellent job in front of Spezza.
That's a good
Was
tip
able to get a piece
in
of
front.
Campbell's reaction
And now
again.
it's
one of those
7-4.
nights where, okay, you're going sliding one way, the puck goes back the other. Watch Carter Rowney right here.
Folks.
In great position, and he just bunts that one out of midair, and it goes back.
Didn't I
behind
tell
him
you?
And past the shoulder.
And again, it's nothing against the Leafs.
13 games for Rowney.
It's nothing, oh man, this
Penguins
team's
will have won
cursed.
the Cup in 2017.
They're battling an
Out
illness.
for 17
Several
games.
guys are out of the lineup. Some guys we already know are in the lineup and battling this. The Leafs came out of the gate like a bat out of hell. And they kept that pace up basically the entire first 40 minutes. Now we're here in the third. They have to defend the lead, and boy, howdy are they struggling.
Sends it around behind the net. Bertuzzi there first.
You got to know if you're the Leafs.
And all of a sudden, it's a 3-goal lead with just over 17 minutes to go. 3 is still good. Not as good as 5. Come on,
Shots by
man.
the way in the second period were
A moment's
11-10.
peace. A moment's peace.
Doesn't really tell much of a story in how the Leafs dominated.
Come on, bro.
The box score doesn't always tell it, does it?
We'll say hello to the coolest family on the block. Watch them on Run the Burbs Wednesdays
boy.
at 8:30 on CBC and CBC Gem.
Not much talk for Sheldon Keefe. But
By the way, did you know there's an outdoor game on right now?
All kinds of situations as a coach, and you know how crazy this game can be.
If I broke into your house right now, kicked the door down, and I opened a briefcase, and inside that briefcase was $1 million.
Here's Lindstrom from long range, a turn and shot by
Jack Campbell with the save. I kicked down your door. I opened a briefcase with $1 million. And I tell you, if you can name the 2 teams playing in the outdoor game right now, I'll give you $1 million. How many of you would get $1 million?
His goaltending, but some of those types of goals that go off of bodies or through screens.
Anyone?
That's the ups and downs of a goaltender. You got to try to handle.
Okay, I didn't say it was my $1 million. Producer Stu said the 2 teams. You work here!
Campbell looking the other way on the centering pass. Here comes
That's cheating.
a shot. That's gloved eye.
Jack Campbell stops it. Detroit's basically going to be putting everything on through traffic.
He'll go back at TJ Brody. This was a big start for Campbell.
What's going on there in front of the net with TJ Brody and Lucas Raymond?
With him is he's a Michigan product. Mentioned he was a junior.
It's Tampa and Nashville, by the way.
Pee-wee tournament and won a native of Port Huron. And for a
Well, actually,
variety
it's
of
Tampa
reasons,
against the
tried to
Michigan
unite.
Wolverines. Some jerseys look better on the ice. Yeah, I don't know about those Nashville ones. The Smashville ones. They're okay. There are worse ones. I'm not a big fan of the white jerseys, but the Bolts, actually, they do it for me. They got the cool blue lightning bolt on the helmet. Detroit getting a little nasty here. Man, those guys in the corner, those Red Wings fans are fired up. Ooh, Kerfoot breaking ankles.
Now playing it to the side of the net, David Camp unable to come up with it.
4 minutes gone by.
Back across Liljegren
in the
right
third period. Leafs still up 7-4. But the Red Wings with 2 quick goals to start the third.
Recalibrate things for Toronto here in the third. And a good shift down in the Detroit zone.
Someone already tweeted me, it was 7-2. Shut up! No. No. Maybe. No. Oh my God, they scored there. That was a goal.
No sign yet, but Valeno celebrating, and it did look like it hit the roof of the net.
Imagine a moment's peace.
And suddenly, shockingly, it's a 2-goal lead.
You have to be joking. Oh, Jack. Oh, buddy. Buddy.
What a start to the period for him. Didn't get deflected through.
Oh, Jack. That's 2
skate wasn't quite tight against
unforgivable goals. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You come into the third period
and listen,
with all kinds of confidence. You got a huge lead, and now
again,
the momentum swing is
the theme of the night is Leafs are battling illnesses tonight.
That's hard to believe that even found a way.
Jack Campbell may very well be one of them.
And now you got a goal.
That's 2 horrendous. Yeah, and there's Mrazek.
This is a hard one to do.
The Leafs were up 7-2, and you're getting pulled less than 5 minutes in. That can't happen, man. It can't happen, and I think Jack is surprised.
Going to use a goaltending change to get a timeout too.
I think he's taking a timeout as well. He'll take the extra time. You know,
that's a 5-goal lead, bro.
Team in front of him, there's an early rebound that he doesn't control. So
that one goes right through him.
Now you got a turnover.
That one he left the net.
Play behind your own net. Okay, your team gets you a huge
that
lead.
One goes right through him.
A long deflection out high, finds a way through you. Another crazy bounce.
I didn't catch that one.
Deflection of this one here.
And then this one.
Could have been icing, but they chased it down.
It can't go in.
And Valeno able to somehow squeak
that can't go in.
Through, and that's the end of the night.
At least 3 of the goals he allowed tonight sucked. Like straight up sucked.
It's the 10th time in 13 games he's given up 3 or more.
And now it's 7-5. With 15 minutes to go. That's forever. That's forever, and now it's just a 2-goal lead.
So what looked like a sure
and here come the Red Wings.
And what looked like a sure feel-good.
Those dudes in the corner are. I want an ISO cam on those guys. They are losing it.
And Mrazek has to be called upon early here.
They're not. They're not really.
There was a Leaf comeback a month ago, and now Detroit tried to author the same script.
Right?
Snyder scores.
Oh my God!
It's a 1-goal game.
You've got to be kidding! You've actually got to be kidding!
Well, you talk about your mental.
Jack doesn't even have his hat on!
You've watched the team in front of you with Jack Campbell in net. Get a huge lead. The second period was owned.
Less than 5.5 minutes into the third period, the Leafs see a 7-2 lead.
The world has changed, and you can see the head coach trying to settle things down.
Go 7-6.
Pretty simple process. Look at all the red sweaters in front.
Leaf fans, buckle up. You're never going to live this one down. Add it to the list. Add it to the list. Add it to the list of things you're never going to live down. Oh, that goes off of Matthews. All he does is score goals. Oh, man. And now the Leafs have just a 1-goal lead with 14.5 to go. It was 5.
4 goals,
5
minutes, 46 seconds. You weren't sure who they were cheering for 5 minutes ago. I think you know now.
They're haunted.
Wow.
So I changed my answer. The number one team, the number one obstacle in the Leafs' way heading into the playoffs is them. I mean, that or whatever virus they're currently battling.
Bouncing puck, Rodick fired it and whipped it through traffic wide.
Oh, my phone is just, it's lighting up like a Christmas tree.
It was all Leafs 6 minutes into the third.
You know,
now Carter Rowdy sends it back down and gets a change for Detroit.
Every now and then, I have a moment of weakness where I'm foolish enough to say I've seen it all. No, I haven't.
You got to find a way to make a play under pressure because the red sweaters are the ones that are jumping and making all the plays and winning the little battles. That could be hard to do.
The Leafs have hung 7 on the Detroit Red Wings tonight, and Little Caesars Arena is going ballistic. because the Red Wings have scored 4 goals. Shots are 9-1 in the third period. Did I not say this is how the game was going to go? I didn't say the goals were going to go in, but this is exactly how I said the game was going to go. Because of course the game was going to go like this. Score effects are a thing. They've always been a thing. Oh, Mikheyev, thank God. Thank God. 8-6 now. I don't know what Nedeljkovic is complaining about.
Use your biggest asset, and for Mikheyev, it's
what are they reviewing?
Does an excellent job.
Are they saying he like punched it in or something?
Right at the line. He's got a forward.
I've never been so miserable to see my team score the 8th goal of the game.
The rebound comes out. There's a little bit of collision.
I have no idea. Goalie interference?
Oh boy.
He didn't kick it in. I think it went in off one of the Red Wings.
You know, so often you see a play like this and the player gets knocked into and the puck's in the back of the net.
That might be goalie interference. I'd want another look at it, but it definitely goes off one of the Red Wings and in.
Watching the replay at the bench, Nedeljkovic immediately signaled to the bench.
That kind of looks like Nedeljkovic initiating contact, doesn't it?
Make that quick play, and it's not
like he grabs him with his blocker.
Puts his arms out.
They're going to challenge it. This is a huge moment.
I guess if you're Jeff Blashill.
Huge moment in this game. Oh, my father-in-law is texting me, for God's sake. Okay, it counts. Woo! It's 8-6 now. 13 minutes to go. Leafs can win this game 12-6. And they're going to, and like, the Leafs are going to get made fun of tomorrow. We're about to head to break. What's the score now? It's 8-6 Leafs. The period started 7-2. Pray for us. We'll be right back. Watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle. I'm Steve Dangle. Click like, click subscribe. Tell all your friends. You all thought it. At the beginning of the third period, you all thought it. But you didn't think it would really happen.
Still shocked on the bench. You've seen goaltenders at both ends.
Leafs were up 7-2. If you're just tuning in, they were up 7-2 at the beginning of the third period. Red Wings made it 7-6. Ilya Mikheyev just scored. It is now 8-6. The Leafs are battling an illness. We do know that. But holy Moses.
He's got 2 goals. He's got a hat trick. And it's 8-7.
A save! My kingdom for a save!
This has just been a crazy game.
It's now 8.
This end of the ice has seen all kinds of action, as you mentioned. The
minutes and 15 seconds to go in the third.
Now you trade
The Red Wings
chances at
have
one
scored
and a simple
5
2-2.
goals
Liljegren doesn't use
in
his
less
stick,
than
allows that
8
puck to get through.
minutes.
The goaltender's nightmare night
The
continues.
Leafs got one in there.
Goes out, Mrazek comes in and he's given up 2.
And it's
Through the
8-7.
legs, and then through the
That
legs of
goal
the
is a
goaltender.
hunk of crap.
Would you have picked 8-7 as a number? What was the over?
He's not calling a timeout.
Under was 6.5, and I thought, well, you could probably take that tonight. but
Win or
they
lose,
certainly
this is the
wouldn't
most
have
humiliating game
thought
of the
there'd
season.
be 15. And
There's no
hat-tricks
team in the
for
entire
both
world in any sport like
Lucas
this one.
Raymond and the guy who we talked about that he emulated.
They're taking a
Marner,
timeout
finally, the timeout
in a game where they've
Sheldon
scored
Keefe
8
tried to
goals.
buckle this one
Shambolic.
down.
Yeah, you mentioned he basically got one.
Sell
when
at
he
the
took Campbell
deadline.
out.
Enough.
Last goal by Mikheyev. How
Oh
huge
my
is that?
God.
Now here's one where you back off the line, you let
Look
a
at
shooter
this.
through, a nice little adjustment by
Does it
Raymond.
even hit anything?
Past the stick of Liljegren. He's got his head up the entire time. That little curve there, and that turns the puck on
Oh.
edge, but Mrazek looking behind
Oh,
him. How about the rookie scoring race tonight, too?
I mean, what do you say?
Bunting with 4 points, but Raymond's responded with
Bounces
a hat
back.
trick of his own.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
It's a lot of unbelievable tonight. It's an overused word, but tonight
Oh.
it might be the operative word. A chance and
Oh,
kicked away
bless
by
Alex
Nedeljkovic.
Nedeljkovic. Every
And
goalie
yet,
who has
viewers
touched
just
the ice
joining
in this
us, he
game
was
has been
chased
hot
after
garbage.
one,
All
twice in
4
the
of them.
second. Nedeljkovic back
All 4
in
of
the
them have been
third.
absolutely terrible. Alex Nedeljkovic, Thomas Greiss, Jack Campbell, Peter Mrazek. All of them equally
Played
terrible.
ahead at center.
We've had 6 goals in less than half a period. I mean, it's,
Maybe not a good save between them.
You're right. It's back into 80s run and gun days.
And that one from
Hey!
tracking that. And traffic around the net as
Unbelievable.
The Red Wings try to get in the
There
kitchen
have
of
been
Mrazek.
15 goals tonight. And this game started late. It's 9:42 Eastern.
Introducing the new Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Experience the power of 5G on Canada's largest and most reliable 5G network.
If you're Jeff Blashill, you'll say to your team, shoot the puck from everywhere. I mean,
This
is
period
a
started
game for Mrazek, as
8-2
you
or
mentioned, coming into the
7-2.
third, up 7-2. There's no way in his mind,
Click like,
barring
click
an
subscribe,
injury to
tell all
Campbell
your
that he's feeling
friends.
he's getting into
The
it. Now all of a
biggest
sudden you have
house
some
in
doubt.
Oshawa belongs to my
The
therapist.
Red Wings never
I
had shot,
cannot
but I don't think it's possible to have one
cannot
with the way things are
believe
going
what I'm
now.
watching. Someone just tweeted me, is Steve Dangle going to swear on a Sportsnet platform? That's Stuart. I can. Like, I'm allowed. I'm not going to get fined by the CRTC for swearing on YouTube.
Multi-event.
Boss might get upset. I think I said a swear when Sid was on,
Along the boards.
and I did that just to be
Wings
cheeky.
energized here in the third. Ernie sends it around. Comes back to the line, and there's Danny DeKaiser.
The Red Wings' recipe for success is literally just float it on from the point and it'll go in. How do you hold this lead? There's still just under 11 minutes to go in this game. Both teams might hang double digits on each other.
So that's a career high for him.
I don't care if they get the 2 points tonight. This is a loss.
Lindstrom tied up, got it loose. Rowney fanned on it. Marner
Miserable.
back on it. Here's Liljegren, a bouncing puck, and now he'll play it back around for Marner. To Bunting, couldn't get it to Matthews, and the Red Wings
Again,
flip it away.
like, you gotta...
Well, for the first 40 minutes, this line for the Leafs had its
I
way.
don't have it in me to
Right
go
in the third.
100%.
Now Marner sends it
Just because I
across.
know it's impossible to know
Back in for
who
Marner.
is and
Bunting
isn't sick.
back in front. And the loose puck picked up by Leddy. Trying to
But
send away
the
Robert
goaltending
Catley.
has been
And an icing call
atrocious.
against Detroit. Followed
And
the
even a
ECG
7
critically acclaimed drama
They
series
have 8
based on
goals.
real
Have the
events.
Leafs scored 8 this season?
Monday at 9.
This is probably a season high,
Jim.
and they might lose this game.
Stays out there. Been out
Still,
there for a
there's
little
half
while,
a
but
period to
it's
go,
a good
plus a
opportunity to try to
second.
take advantage. Hasn't been
And
much
knowing the Detroit Red Wings, they'll tie it in that second.
digging in for most of this
I
period.
was at the Centennial Classic. I remember.
And this line was on for 3
They blew a
goals
4-1
against
lead in
the
that
third.
game. We don't talk about that.
+5 to +2.
Matthews won it.
Brody shot
Ooh,
blocked by
who was that,
Bertuzzi
Bertuzzi?
was down.
That looked like it hurt.
That shot by Marner doesn't
Bertuzzi
get through.
loves blocking a painful shot
Seider
against the
with a
Leafs.
shot
You should
block as
probably
well.
stop that.
Here's Matthews digging it out, trying to jam it.
Like, why is
Marner
Matthews
knocked
having to
out
play
his man,
100%
the Red
right
Wings
now?
away, and
Oh my God, and they took a penalty.
Detroit's going to get a power play here and a centering pass picked
I
up
am
by Brody.
completely miserable,
So
San Diego.
mark of the third. In a one-goal game, Detroit's going to get a power play chance to tie it.
The memes are good.
Lucas Raymond,
Oh,
the
man.
hat-trick celebration here.
Let's go to break. It's 8-7. Actually. We'll be right back. How many people are watching? Hi. Steve Dangle here. This is Watch a Leafs Game with Steve Dangle. Boy, if you've been here with us all season, you've seen some games. Saturdays are ridiculous. And this is by far the most ridiculous one. The Leafs were up 7-2. And all game long, I was telling you guys, oh, they look really good, which is surprising because they're battling an illness. Oh, they have the lead, but they might have trouble defending it because they're battling an illness. And here they are. They began the period with a 7-2 lead. It is now 8-7. Arguably their most key penalty killer, Mitch Marner, is in the box. They cannot catch a cold in terms of a save. My phone is lighting up like a Christmas tree. I'm getting texts from Ryan Hanna and Brad Crisco from the Winged Wheel podcast. And the Leafs with a shorthanded opportunity that they desperately need. And Andre Kasha celebrating like it's the playoffs. So is Sheldon Keefe. Because despite having 9 goals, they needed another one.
You know the Red Wings are
I don't
focused
care.
on winning this face-off. Instead, the battle is by Camp. He reaches around.
How do you
Larkin,
feel?
able to make the play, and
How
then
do
with
you
the rolling
feel?
puck, he uses
I'm
his
so
feet,
sick of
gets
people
great
being like, I
position.
hope the Leafs
You
lose.
remember the play that
Or
Marner
saying
made?
Steve Dangle hopes the
Maintained.
Leafs lose.
Camp,
Guess what?
games
There were
ago against
4,000
Seattle.
people
Well,
watching the
here's
stream
a similar
concurrently. The
play,
Red
but
Wings came
Kasha
back,
does
and now
an
it's
excellent
8,000.
job. Got on his horse, followed
You
the
love
gets
watching
it
the
off.
Leafs lose. And I hope you don't get it.
Slides by
Because 10
Kasha.
seconds in
Makes this a
to the penalty
9-7
kill,
game.
David Kampf and Andre Kasha team up. His 11th of the season. The Leafs now lead 9-7.
Still early in this power play.
9-7.
Puck got past Suter. Nick Leddy at the line.
The only thing I can think of that comes
Here's
close
Suter with it again.
is the Marlies, rather, with William Nylander on them.
Hit a ski
We're
in
losing a
front.
game 8-4 and ended up winning that game 9-8 in
Suter
overtime.
goes to the front of the net. Zadina on the far side.
Remember at the beginning of the third, I said the Red Wings were on pace for 27 shots. They're already at 30.
Now this time he'll get it down.
You saw the attempt at a bank shot.
Listen, I've called just about everything that's happened so far
Mrazek's
tonight.
arm and get it in.
The only thing I am absolutely flabbergasted by
This game's gone.
3 field goals against
is
the converted touchdown with a minute
they haven't
remaining
gotten
in
a
this
single
power play.
save.
Here's
And again,
Adlerby.
guys
Second
are sick.
unit on.
I get it. Guys are sick. Campbell could be
Suter.
sick.
Pass
Mrazek
picked
could be
off
sick.
by Kemp.
But
And the shorthanded
not
goal
a
scored
save
Kasha
between
to
them.
get it down the ice.
and Detroit's been horrible too. How do you even talk about this game?
Sider at the controls.
There's 8 minutes, 15 seconds left in this game, and I'm already thinking about my post-game video going, how the hell Do I talk about a game where there's been 16 goals?
Offensive factor.
You know, the Leafs came in with the second best combination of power play and penalty
Look at
kill
David
in the
Camp,
National
though,
Hockey
hero.
League. Only Carolina's 150.
I love David Camp at least. So remember I said I left Dylan Larkin scratched on my fantasy team, and I just don't want him to get any points tonight? I'm scared to look. I'm terrified. I don't think I can do it. Red Wings still on the power play.
Under 8 to go now in the third.
Okay, I just checked. Larkin somehow 1 assist. That's stupid. I don't know if the Red Wings held the zone there.
For these dying seconds of the man advantage.
If they did, it was pretty close.
Here's Larkin across. Raymond one side in front.
Oh my God. Leafs kill that off.
Back post.
I think he tried a shot pass. I think if he had
You know,
one time that,
if the
that
Leafs
big
defended
Mrazek was
leads
ready,
entirely shorthanded, they might
half a net
be fine.
instead of trying to make the
If they
perfect
defended
play,
leads entirely shorthanded,
So Detroit does
they'd
not
win
get a
every game.
shot on the power
Their
play.
penalty
The
kill is
Leafs
sick.
get one
5-on-5, they are
expand their lead.
shambolic.
8 shorthanded goals for Toronto this year. They have not given up a shorthanded goal.
I know
again,
other teams blow leads.
and they haven't had a power play.
I
tonight.
know.
Here's a lead feed and Bunting ahead.
But if I told you about a
Marner's under the
hypothetical
box,
game
Bunting
and
with
asked you who
Matthews.
do you think is
Puts
involved,
that on, and Nedeljkovic
you'd 100%
kicked
guess
that
the Leafs.
away. Marner in the corner.
9-7
Back for
right
Bunting.
now.
Matthews tied up, knocked down.
Marner has a natural
Out
hat
for
trick.
Veronik.
He had a
With
natural hat
Moreno,
trick
who's
in the
got a
second
goal in
period.
third. Flipped high over the lead
Get
net.
this. This is unbelievable. I just
Bumped
realized
by
this.
Sandin. Nemestikov looks
Alex
for him,
Nedeljkovic
but it's clear.
started the game, was pulled after allowing 3 goals. Thomas Greiss came into the game. At the beginning of the third, Nedeljkovic came back into the game. He's now the goalie of record,
Shot kicked away in the rebound.
as Nick Robertson almost puts in the 10th.
And turning it is Ernie.
Good back check.
Adam Ernie down the ice, and that's blocked.
We got a save!
And that flipped over the glass.
As the puck goes into the stands.
I think it deflected up, so that's okay. And
It's one of the few pucks that hasn't gone into a net tonight.
on that blocker stop on the last Detroit shot.
You know, there are certain games for coaches that you just say, burn the video.
Holy
Let's see
cow.
this one, and this is one of those games
Tyler
where the
Bertuzzi
shot
coming
concept
so
Bertuzzi
close to scoring
just
there.
couldn't get himself turned around to get a piece of. As Raymond
Face off in the D
fired
zone.
off for number 59.
It's almost the first chance of the period Detroit hasn't capitalized on.
I'm calling it in the press
Goal,
conference.
isn't it?
Feels
The
like
Leafs have something gruesome.
a crazy night.
Like, no one's skating the next couple days.
Campbell giveaway in the second.
Half of these guys are going to be
Didn't
on
see that
IV
at
bags.
the time. John Tavares taken off the puck by
Like, is it
Zadina.
even going to be worth it for them to travel home tonight? Like, maybe just grab a hotel and
Back into the Leaf zone.
do nothing but drink water and Gatorade?
Justin Hall let it go. Letty shooting through traffic, and that
I thought-
deflected wide.
I really did think the Red Wings scored again.
Hall. And the puck comes out to center.
Leafs clear the zone. Less than 5.5 minutes to go. The clock moving a little bit faster now.
That shot down the ice, and Nedeljkovic out to play it. Here's Kerfoot back on it. Kerfoot, Camp,
Thank goodness.
and Kasha right now might be the most comfortable line for Sheldon Keefe. Kerfoot nearly came out in front. Now feeds the point. Sandin back in
The Leafs
middle
could
for
score the
Camp,
most
and
goals in a single
Snyder
game
takes
I've
it
ever seen in
away.
my lifetime, and I'd
Leave it away.
still be miserable.
Centering play here. Camp couldn't reach it.
I really cannot believe this hockey team.
And the outstanding
This
rookie
professional
Raymond
hockey team.
strikes back.
Holy crap.
Back into Leaf territory.
Man, oh man.
There's Labushkin. Zadina. Tied up by Bunting. Loose for Marner.
Oh,
And
Mitch.
a giveaway
Why?
here to Stahl.
Who told you that was the thing to do?
Mark Stahl twists
Why?
and turns. Matthews on his tail.
Labushkin in a battle in front.
Stahl called for it. Bunting takes
And the
it.
Leafs with a
He's
pick
going
off at the
free.
blue line. Michael Bunting
Michael
breakaway. He had a hat
Bunting's
trick in this
in.
building last time.
Leaves it.
Oh!
Scores.
What a play! Leaves it behind.
And the Leafs are in
Repays
double
the
digits.
favor
Mitch Marner's
to
got
Mitch
score.
Marner. Hit him with the 4 like
Look at
Mitchell
that
Marner,
reaction.
apparently.
Marner can't believe it.
His fourth goal of the game, his first career 4-goal game. I say that without looking it up. Bunting on the breakaway, and he leaves it for Marner. Someone get Nedeljkovic a map. Someone get him an iPhone. Someone get him a bungee cord. Someone get him a ticket to wherever he thought he was going. Marner with his fourth of the game.
We saw a similar play on the shorthanded goal.
And with 4:19 to go,
it's
10-7.
Play by Bunting to give Marner the empty net.
I need to know how many NFL games this past season had a score lower than this. 17 points. That's what we're at. There have been 17 goals tonight. Imagine making a YouTube video after every game. What would you do? Is that okay? So, producer Stu, I forgot this.
10 goals, 4 by
Was
Marner.
What was the Super Bowl? What was the score of the Super Bowl? Unbelievable. I really cannot believe this. Super Bowl, I think this is 53. Rams Patriots was 13-3. Holy crap. Watch the Leafs game with Steve Dangle. I'm Steve Dangle. Click like, click subscribe, tell all your friends. Check out the graphic. Look at that. Look at that right there. See that? See that right there? That's not a typo. It's 10-7. This period began 7-2. There were 9 goals before this period. The last time, thank you, producer Rob, that the Leafs scored 10 goals was against the Bruins. It was a 10-2 Leafs win. I believe Tyler Bozak had a big game in that one, producer Rob, if you have it up. He had like 4 or 5 points, didn't he? I feel like he had a big game. It was many years ago. I'm trying to remember who was in net. I feel like it was pre-good Tim Thomas. You know what I mean? He had this period before he was unbeatable, where he was just kind of bad. Could have been Hannu Toivonen. Not totally sure. Hannu Toivonen, who I believe works for the Leafs now. Boy.
The number, that's enough. This third period itself has just been crazy.
Career best 6-point game for Mitch Marner. His first hat trick, become his first 4-goal game. Austin Matthews has 4 points. 8 Leafs have multi-point games tonight. And that puck out of
Oh, I'm back?
Under
I'm
4
back.
minutes left.
So you wonder,
Sure. Add in a
the
tech glitch.
offense
Why
is
not?
one thing, but we've seen in this
Why
game,
not?
Sheldon Keefe go with
A little under 4 minutes to go. The Leafs up 10-7.
As you look around and always trying to mix and match, this is one of those games that's going to be hard to really reflect upon, don't you think?
No team like this on the face of the earth, face of the planet.
Morgan Riley hasn't really even been talked about, and typically
Bro.
when he's got a guy
It's
like
10-7.
Goalie as his partner,
The last time the Leafs scored 10 goals was in a game against the Bruins, a 10-2 win many years ago. Producer Rob, do you have the stat sheet in front of you? Yet. He's looking for it.
15 points for the big line combined.
Oh my God.
How about the response by the wings, though?
The person who had a big game that night was Alex Steen. Oi! Kosh almost gets another one. How many points did Alex Steen have, producer Rob?
There's Nylander.
5?
Tavares
I feel like someone had
wide.
4 or 5.
Tavares a backhand
It doesn't matter.
shoveled wide. And the puck played past
Leafs
Lundgren.
10, Bruins 2. NHL.com.
Leafs get the Capitals.
Oh, Darcy Tucker out of the lineup. Man, this was a long time ago. This is January 4th, 2007. So this was actually the season before I even started making LFR videos. And I've been making them for 15 seasons now.
Another team that can frustrate you and put the puck in.
God, what a goofy, dumb team.
13 games for Detroit, so
Okay, we got the stat. Okay, 3 stars of the game. Alex Steen, number 1. John Pohl, number 2. And Bates Battaglia, number 3. I love it. Steen, 3 goals, 2 assists. I was right. Johnny Pohl, 1 goal, 2 assists. Bates Battaglia, 2 goals. There's still 2.5 minutes to go. The Red Wings might tie this. Like, I'm not even being a jerk. Like, they scored like 5 goals in 8 minutes, was it?
Mikheyev races after it. An important goal in the third period for Ilya Mikheyev.
Ilya Mikheyev scored what I believe is currently the game-winning goal.
Zadina swings it in deep. Larkin
currently.
knocks it down. Centered it. Stahl was up on the play, unable to.
I believe he had the 8th. Kasha had the 9th. That's interference. And Bunting. No, Marner had the 10th. I should just guess Marner for every goal.
Raymond follows up. One more. Detroit pushes. That Stahl shot went wide, and away goes Mikheyev. Stahl
Here's Ilya Mikheyev.
Shoo! Stopped by Nedeljkovic.
Nedeljkovic, first stop of the game. 90 seconds to go. It's a goal every 30 seconds for the Red Wings. Can they do it? Watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle. I'm Steve Dangle. Click like, click subscribe, tell all your friends.
Knocked away by Tavares.
John Tavares is out there.
In by the Red Wings. Bertuzzi back to Sider.
I cannot believe what we've
Now
witnessed.
Tavares picks it off, trying to get it clear. William Nylander
The Leafs
scored
slogan a
long
few years
time
ago was
ago,
stand
first goal
witness.
of The deluge.
And it should be stand
Letty with a shot
and then fall down and witness.
How do we have a game like tonight when Kelly Ruby's
I did a
not
great
on the
job.
panel?
It was a
The
great
goalie's
slogan.
returned, he's got a
Witness
big
and then fall down in
all
disbelief.
the goalies took the night off.
Yeah.
Less than a minute to go here. Moritz Sider.
Looked like
You're on
Mrazek
my
got a
fantasy
stick
team.
on
You're
that.
allowed to score. That's fine. That's fine. Go ahead.
And
Why are
Tavares-
fans leaving this game?
Tavares
You're going to miss like
moving
3
it
goals.
ahead for Simmons. Simmons spins it
30
back.
seconds to go. Wayne
Sider trying
Train
to take
in
it
there.
away.
Nick Robertson in
He's
there.
had some good
Get him a
saves
goal.
tonight. Doesn't show on the busy scoreboard, but Robertson
Get him a goal, you bunch of
hasn't
bums.
looked out of place.
Everybody, watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle. I'm Steve Dangle. Click like, click subscribe, tell all your friends. What an evening we have had. Get ready, because they're going to upload the highlight pack to the Sportsnet YouTube channel. It might be a while on account of the pack, I assume, is 50 gigabytes
The final.
and half an hour long.
That's
The
right
Leafs
for
beat
us
the
and a
Detroit
throwaway
Red
for
Wings
probably both coaches.
10-7.
Win their 34th, their third against
Goofy,
Detroit this
goofy,
year, their
unbelievable.
6th consecutive
Folks, that is... Yeah, sure. Throw up the graphic. Why not? Who the hell cares? Oh, my
What a
God.
night. Mitch
That
Marner
is
capped
it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell your friends. You thought 7-2 was safe, did you? No. No, no.